Live from Mountain America Center in Idaho Falls, it's Utah Grizzlies preseason hockey. As tonight is the second and final preseason game as the Grizzlies take on the Idaho Steelheads. Hi, everybody. Welcome to Utah Grizzlies hockey. I'm Tyson Whiting. We should have a ton of fun here tonight as we got a great crowd already filing in here as Utah Grizzlies take on the Idaho Steelheads for the second straight night. Last night, the Grizzlies got goals from Mick Messner and Evan Friesen. Messner's was a shorthanded goal and a great individual effort in the first period. Evan Friesen scored an early third period goal, but it was the Chris Tadero show for the Steelheads as he had 2 goals and 1 assist. Danny Janitsev had 1 goal and 1 assist, the rookie out of Penn State. And Nolan Mayer was outstanding in net as he saved 36 of 38. So for the Grizzlies, are looking for a little bit of revenge tonight. Last night, it was Dylan Wells getting the start in net. He saved 29 of 33, and it will be Dryden McKay tonight for the Grizzlies. McKay making his Grizzlies debut. He's going to be wearing number 29, and he is a college legend. He had 3 straight seasons where he had exactly 10 shutouts at the college level. He was the 2022 Hobey Baker Award winner, and he was just the 3rd goaltender in NCAA history to be named the Hobey Baker Award winner. Well, last night, obviously, we talked about some of the circumstances from the offseason. We're not going to go over them every single game. Obviously, we got 72 regular season games, but obviously some tough stuff happening in the offseason. Because of that, it appears that this is going to be the final preseason game in Utah Grizzlies history. And, for the Grizzlies, they played the Steelheads so many times here in preseason action that, it's going to be strange having a fall in 2026, not having the Grizzlies and Steelheads meeting either in Boise or here in Idaho Falls or over in Ogden at the ice sheet. Either way, it's going to be odd not seeing the Grizzlies and Steelheads meet in preseason action. During the regular season, it's kind of odd to think that these teams won't meet that often during the regular season. In fact, the Grizzlies and Steelheads are only set to meet 7 times during the regular season, 4 at Maverick Center and 3 in Boise, which is certainly odd considering that the Steelheads are really the only place realistically that the Utah Grizzlies bus to. So it's going to be odd that the Grizzlies and Steelheads don't meet all that often. In fact, most years they'll meet 12 times, maybe 15 times, 18 times during the regular season, but just 7 times this year. In fact, late December of 2025 is going to be the final time these teams will ever meet. So it should be a ton of fun. Looks like a great crowd is filing in here to Mountain America Center as the Utah Grizzlies will take on the Idaho Steelheads. Later on, we'll be joined with the voice of the Idaho Falls Spud Kings, Scott Bradford, as we are at the home of the Idaho Falls Spud Kings, a team that won the Deneen Cup championship this past season. They're an NCDC team, and they're in their 4th year of existence, and they're certainly proud of what they've accomplished here in Idaho Falls. And they've certainly got a great juniors building here with the Mountain America Center. It's a little bit chilly outside, but it looks like hockey weather as the Grizzlies will take on the Steelheads for the second straight night. When we come back, we'll talk about some of the other scores along the league, and we'll also go over some NHL scores on the other side. We're in business on a Saturday night, and you're listening to the Utah Grizzlies Hockey Network.
When you pay with the Nitro card at Maverick, you always save 10 cents or more on fuel every gallon, every day. And you could save a whole lot more thanks to Nitro Best Price. Pick up a Nitro card and upgrade your Adventure Club account today.
Les Schwab changed the tire game more than 70 years ago. Today, we still believe you should get more from less. Like more hustle, less hassle. More of the best service around, less of the runaround. Because we include America's best tire warranty in every tire we sell. So you get more unbeatable warranty, less charging you extra. It's why we're more than proud to say, you get more from less.
Back and forth. Check in 1, 2, 3, 4.
Every new day is a chance to be kinder to your body and your mind. U of U Health is here to help you build strength and confidence every day. Let us help you be a better you. U of U Health, official health partner for the Utah Jazz, Utah Hockey Club, Utes Athletics, and the Utah Grizzlies. Take the first step today at
Maverick's new bean-to-cup machines always deliver a freshly ground cup of coffee on demand, so you can enjoy any of our premium roasts at their best, day or night, hot or iced. Enjoy a fresh cup today.
Since 1939, America First has helped people start businesses, buy homes and cars, and achieve their financial goals. Today, our top priority is still the financial success of you and your family, which is why we're giving new members $100 when they sign up for a basic savings and checking account, and another $100 when they upgrade to premium checking and enroll in and use direct deposit. So head to americafirst.com today and join the credit union that always puts its members first.
Right now at Les Schwab Tires, it's the Best for Less sales event. Save up to $120 instantly on a set of 4 tires. Choose from a wide selection of our longest-lasting, best-performing tires, and every tire is covered by America's best tire warranty. With a 60-day satisfaction guarantee, no hassle road hazard protection, and free maintenance for the life of your tires. It's our best deal on our best tires with the best service in the business. Get more from less.
Welcome back to the Grizzlies Hockey Network. I'm Tyson Whiting. Let's go over some ECHL scores as face-off here at Mountain America Center is in about 13 minutes from now. Face-off at about 7:05 here in the Mountain Time Zone. Grizzlies and Steelheads are two of the 3 teams in the Mountain Time Zone. Actually, I'm not sure what time zone Tahoe is in Nevada / I think they're actually in Pacific Time Zone, if my geography is correct, as we'll go over some league scores as well as some NHL scores and check in on those who are living the dream. That is, of course, assuming the Wi-Fi will help us out. We'll be joined by Scott Bradford all night long. There are some finals in the league. Savannah defeats Greensboro 5-1, and it looks like the lone goal for Greensboro is veteran Logan Nelson. Goals from 5 different Savannah Ghost Pirates as they get a 5-1 preseason victory. Indy defeats Bloomington 2-1. Petgrave and Joseph had the goals for Indy, and Evans scored for Bloomington. Maine defeats Worcester 3-2 as Maine outshot Worcester 43-25, and Maine came away with a 1-goal victory. 3-2 is the final score. Late third period, actually early third period, 14:26 the time remaining. Campbell and Solhaney have goals for Adirondack as they lead the defending champion Trois Rivières Lions 2-0. Getting underway, and actually the game that looked like started a couple hours ago. We don't have a score update. Wheeling is taking on Greenville. Remember, the Greenville Swamp Rabbits will be the Grizzlies' opponent 6 days from now for the regular season opener. Early third period, Toledo and Kalamazoo are tied at 2. Former Grizzly forward Chad Hillebrand has both of the Toledo goals. Remember, Hillebrand scored a goal for Toledo in last night's game. So he's in this league, but he might not be for long. He spent a lot of last year with the Colorado Eagles and also had some time with the Grizzlies last year. After one period, Allen leads Tulsa 2-0 as Simon Fisher and Thomas Caron, a former Idaho Steelhead. Those two have the goals for the Allen Americans, and obviously former Steelhead legend Matt Register is back for a second stint with the Allen Americans. Let's check on those who are living the dream as the National Hockey League has a full schedule as face-offs in about 12 minutes from now here at Mountain America Center. It looks like we got an outstanding crowd in store for tonight's game. I'll be joined by Scott Bradford throughout the broadcast, and we're going to have a ton of fun here at Mountain America Center, and we've already had a lot of fun here this afternoon. Yesterday, Idaho got a 4-2 victory over the Grizzlies, and obviously, if you're talking about, we're just waiting for the phone to load up. I'm getting that spinning wheel thing, and it looks like we finally got some NHL scores. A lot of games in progress right now. There have been 2 finals. The Jets defeat the Kings 3-2, so Winnipeg is 1-1 on the year. Los Angeles is 1-2. Blues defeat the Flames 4-2, as the Blues are now 1-1. Calgary is 1-2. Later on tonight at 7 o'clock, the Dallas Stars are at the Colorado Avalanche. Obviously, the Avalanche for the 8th straight season are the Utah Grizzlies affiliate. Colorado's 2-0 on the year. Dallas is 1-0. A game that's going on right now that's in progress that obviously is of note to people here in this part of the country. Utah and Nashville are tied at 1. Karel Vejmelka has saved 5 of 6. Logan Cooley scored a first period goal, and so he gets on the board this season. Remember, a couple days ago, this past Thursday, Dylan Gunther got Utah's lone goal in a 2-1 loss to Colorado. For the Nashville Predators, the lone goal scorer is Philippe Forsberg, as he scored in the first period. And as of the shot count, Utah has outshot Nashville 10-6. Nashville picked up 3 first-period penalties, and after 20 minutes of play, it's the Utah Mammoth 1 and the Nashville Predators 1. After 1 period, Columbus leads Minnesota 1-0. After 2 periods, Devils lead the Lightning 3-2. Also after 2 periods, Rangers lead the Penguins 4-1 in the Mike Sullivan special. Sullivan, the former longtime Pittsburgh Penguins head coach, he's now coaching the Rangers this year. After 2 periods, Capitals lead the Lightning 4-1. And also after 2 periods, the defending champion Florida Panthers lead Ottawa 4-1. Other action later on in the National Hockey League at 8 o'clock. Vancouver is at Edmonton, and Vegas is at Seattle. Anaheim is at the San Jose Sharks. We'll be joined by our Flow Sports audience in about 3 minutes from now. They're working on audio as we speak, and hopefully we'll get audio, but we will have video on Flow Sports here tonight. And so we're going to have a ton of fun here this evening as the Grizzlies take on the Idaho Steelheads. When we come back, we will go over the starting lineups for both teams. This is the Utah Grizzlies Hockey Network.
Right now at Les Schwab Tires, it's the best for less sales event. Save up to $120 instantly on a set of 4 tires. Choose from a wide selection of our longest lasting, best performing tires, and every tire is covered by America's best tire warranty. With a 60-day satisfaction guarantee, no hassle road hazard protection, and free maintenance for the life of your tires. It's our best deal on our best tires with the best service in the business. Get more from less.
Every new day is a chance to be kinder to your body and your mind. U of U Health is here to help you build strength and confidence every day. Let us help you be a better you. U of U Health, official health partner for the Utah Jazz, Utah Hockey Club, Utes Athletics, and the Utah Grizzlies. Take the first step today at uofuhealth.org.
Maverick's new bean-to-cup machines always deliver a freshly ground cup of coffee on demand, so you can enjoy any of our premium roasts at their best, day or night, hot or iced. Enjoy a fresh cup today.
Since 1939, America First has helped people start businesses, buy homes and cars, and achieve their financial goals. Today, our top priority is still the financial success of you and your family, which is why we're giving new members $100 when they sign up for a basic savings and checking account, and another $100 when they upgrade to premium checking and enroll in and use direct deposit. So head to americafirst.com today and join the credit union that always puts its members first.
Right now at Les Schwab Tires, it's the Fall Tire Fest sales event. Save up to $120 instantly on select sets of all-terrain or all-weather tires. And as always, you'll get America's best tire warranty. With a 60-day satisfaction guarantee, no hassle road hazard protection, and free maintenance for the life of your tires. Get dependable all-weather traction with the best service in the business. Get more from less.
Welcome to Mountain America Center. I'm Tyson Whiting, as we're going to have a ton of fun here tonight as the Grizzlies take on the Idaho Steelheads in the second and final preseason game. Let's go over the lineups for both teams. First, for the visiting Idaho Steelheads, who are led by Everett Sheen, the 2022 ECHL Coach of the Year. Idaho's going to go with 10 forwards and 6 defensemen tonight. The starting forwards for the Steelheads include Caleb Pearson, who did not play in last night's game. He played at the University of Prince Edward Island last year. He's a native of St. Mary's, Ontario, and he's got an AHL contract, 25 years old. Brendan Hoffman scored 25 goals and 25 assists and was a +8 last year for the Steelheads. He'll be wearing 9, and he's a big guy at 6'3" and 223 pounds. And Liam Malmquist is the other starting forward. And Malmquist played at the University of St. Thomas in college hockey last year, and he also spent some time with the A. So that's the starting forwards, Pearson, Hoffman, and Malmquist. We will also see Danny Genev, the former Penn State product, first-year pro, 23 years old. He had 1 goal and 1 assist last night. C.J. Walker's also going to be in there. He's a returning Steelhead. Nick Ports made a strong impression last night. He played at St. Cloud State University. Mason Nevers will also be in there, as well as Jordan Steinmetz, Robbie Holmes, and last night's hero, Chris Tadero, who had 2 goals and 1 assist, and he was the number 1 star. 6 defensemen for Idaho tonight. Jeff Baum will get the start. He played in the EIHL with Belfast last year. And Jake Boltman, who played at Northeastern University last season. That's the starting defensive pairing. We will also see Eric Parker, Connor Punnett, Jason Horvath, and Aiden Reshuk. Reshuk played at Boston College University last year. Benny Halaz is the starting goaltender. He played at UMass Lowell last year. 24 years old, out of Hungary. The backup goaltender is Colby Muse, who played last season with Adirondack and was also in the SPHL with Peoria. Now let's go over the lineup of the homestanding Utah Grizzlies, who are led by John Buchanan, who unfortunately is not with the team tonight. He is dealing with a family emergency, and we're certainly thinking of Coach Buchanan. On the bench will be Ryan Anderson and the Director of Hockey Operations, Eric Hudson. So those two will be behind the bench for the Grizzlies. They are rolling with 12 forwards and 6 defensemen tonight. The starting forwards for the Grizzlies is a very speedy one. Luke Manning, who's in his second full year with the Grizzlies. He was outstanding at the end of last year. He had 18 goals last season. He'll get the start. Neil Shea will also be in the starting lineup for the Grizzlies. This is his 3rd full season as a pro. And Ty Voigt, the Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania native, who spent last year with the Cincinnati Cyclones. That's the 3 starting forwards for the Grizzlies, Manning, Shea, and Voigt. We will also see a forward line featuring Mick Messner, who's in his 3rd full season with the Grizzlies, and he's going to be in there with Reed Lebster. Lebster in his 2nd full year as a pro. He was outstanding for the Grizzlies. In fact, he led the Grizzlies in points after February 1st. Those guys will be in there. Riley Connors will be in the lineup, as is Evan Friesen. Dylan Fitz will also be in there for Utah. Adam Berg, who's returning for his 3rd year with the Grizzlies. John Gillott did not play last night, but he's in there tonight, the Holy Cross College product. Jack Ricketts out of Quinnipiac University, who's got an AHL contract with Tucson. He's also in there, as well as Griffin Ness and Simon Boyko. Forward scratches for the Grizzlies include Tyler Gratton and Rylan Kovacevic. 6 defensemen for the Grizzlies, Colby Enns and Aiden Hansen-Bukata will get the start. We will also see Luke Salem, Avery Winslow, Noah Gansky, and Christian Felton. And we're really excited about the defensive potential of the Grizzlies, but it is a brand new unit, and obviously they're looking to gel. Grizzlies played well 5-on-5 in last night's game. Both teams scored 2 goals, 5-on-5, but the difference in the game was 2 power play goals by Idaho, 1 in the first period and 1 in the second, and that was the difference in the game. Well, we're hanging out at the home of the Idaho Falls Spud Kings, the defending Dineen Cup championship club, as they won the Dineen Cup last year. Looks like a great crowd is filing in here. And tonight we're joined by Scott Bradford, as he is the voice of the Idaho Falls Spud Kings. And when we come back in 1 minute, we'll talk with Scott. We'll also have face-off here from Idaho Falls. You're listening to the Utah Grizzlies Radio Network.
Every new day is a chance to be kinder to your body and your mind. U of U Health is here to help you build strength and confidence every day. Let us help you be a better you. U of U Health, official health partner for the Utah Jazz, Utah Hockey Club, Utes Athletics, and the Utah Grizzlies. Take the first step today at uofuhealth.org.
When you pay with the Nitro card at Maverick, you always save 10 cents or more on fuel every gallon, every day. And you could save a whole lot more thanks to Nitro Best Price. Pick up a Nitro card and upgrade your Adventure Club account today.
Welcome back to Utah Grizzlies Hockey. I'm Tyson Whiting, as the Grizzlies take on the Idaho Steelheads, as we're at the home of the Idaho Falls Spud Kings. The Steelheads are taking the ice with a black jersey, white numbers, white lettering in the back, silver on the top and bottom of the jersey tops. And the Grizzlies hit the ice with their white jerseys with black numbers and professional green trim. Got a good goaltending matchup tonight. It's a different one from what we saw last night. College legend Dryden McKay is in there, and Benny Halaz is the goaltender for the Spud Kings, or for the Steelheads. Both teams like potatoes, Steelheads and the Spud Kings. We're going to have a ton of fun here tonight. Obviously, there's a lot of returning forwards for the Grizzlies, as last night there was 9 returning forwards that are in the lineup, and I believe that's the same number here this evening. Apparently, we're having some technical difficulties with Flow Sports. We'll see if we can unplug and plug back in, and who knows, maybe we'll get around, we'll see what happens. But we are on a radio broadcast right here with YouTube. I'm Tyson Whiting, joined by Scott Bradford, voice of the Idaho Falls Spud Kings. And Scott, this is a great setup, and we got a great night for hockey.
Well, it's fantastic. We're glad you guys are here in the third annual Battle of the Beasts, as we call it here in Idaho Falls. Good to have professional hockey come to town with the success of the Spud Kings. Good crowd tonight, 2,900 tickets sold, which is good for a preseason type of game. And so we're just excited to have the opportunity to host Utah and Idaho in this matchup.
The Grizzlies are looking for a little bit of revenge tonight. They lost 4-2 in the preseason opener last night. Idaho, oddly enough, rolling with just 16 skaters. They're going to be without quite a few key forwards, including Nick Canati, Mitch Wall, Ty Pelton-Bice, Jade Miller, Trevor Zins. Matt Anderson was really good last night. So is Sam Jardine, Charlie Dodaro. They're all out of the lineup for the Steelheads. They introduced the Grizzlies one by one. Kobe Enns did not play last night. He's a first-year pro out of Merrimack College, played with the Iowa Heartlanders a little bit last year. Aiden Hansen-Ukata, the Ohio State product, he led the Buckeyes in assists last year. He's also in the starting lineup. Luke Manning gets introduced. Manning in his second full season, native of Stillwater, Minnesota. There's Neil Shea. He had 19 goals in 36 games last season. And also in the starting lineup is Ty Voigt, who's got a ton of speed. He's got that forward line that's starting for the Grizzlies, Manning, Voigt, and Shea. They've got a ton of speed and playmaking potential.
Well, and a lot of experience, too. I believe this is the third season for Manning, if I'm not mistaken, and that makes a huge difference. And I know one time, at least last year, the Grizzlies from last year would love to improve their goal scoring.
They're about the middle of the pack in terms of goal scoring, and they're looking to find a way to improve defensively. Let's pause now. As the lights are out, we'll have our national anthem here on this Saturday night at Mountain America Center.
Ladies and gentlemen, at this time, we ask that you please rise and remove your caps to fix the American flag on the east end of the building for this performance of the Star Spangled Banner. Ladies and gentlemen, our national anthem.
The game's not even on the schedule, so that's what.
What's so proudly hailed at the twilight's last gleam, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming. Rockets rang, the balls bursting, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the great.
That's right. National anthem here on a Saturday night at Mountain America Center. Looks like we got a good crowd, and looks like we're going to have a fun night for hockey as the Grizzlies take on the Idaho Steelheads. Second preseason game. And I'm really excited to see Dryden McKay tonight. You talk about a college legend, the former Hobie Baker Award winner back in 2022. Last season, he played in 35 games with Greenville, had a record of 12-17-5 with a .910 save percentage and 2.93 goals against average. Also spent 7 games with Bloomington last year and had a .919 save percentage. He played with Ontario in the AHL last year, and I believe it was just one game that he was with Ontario. And speaking of the Ontario Reign, the new voice of the Reign is something that Steelheads fans are certainly going to like, as Cam McGuire is broadcasting games for the Reign. And this season, it's going to be Justin Russo, who's the new Steelheads broadcaster. Well, we're having some technical difficulties with Flow Sports. We got a radio-style broadcast that's certainly unique here, and we'll provide that here tonight as Luke Manning set to take the draw with Voigt and Shea on the ice. Idaho's a little bit shorthanded tonight as they're rolling with just 16 skaters. And it looks like Brendan Hoffman's going to take the draw for Idaho. He's out there with Caleb Pearson and Liam Malmquist. And a defensive pairing of Jeff Baum and Jake Boltman for the Grizzlies. The defensive pairing to get the start is Aiden Hansen-Bukata and Colby Enns, who's in making his Grizzlies debut. He didn't play last night. As Idaho will lift it deep into the Grizzlies zone. We're underway. Based on how we're seeing it, Grizzlies are skating from right to left as we see it from section 119. This might even be section 118 here at Mountain America Center. As the Steelheads get across center ice, Hansen-Bukata will nudge it ahead as Luke Manning will drop it for Voigt, but Voigt overskates it. As Hoffman steps over the offensive line, moves to the right side for Pearson. Take a righty shot, saved by McKay as it bounced off his left shoulder. As the puck goes back towards Connor Punnett, who did not play last night. Punnett's got an NHL contract with Dallas. Punnett fakes a shot, and he'll roll it off the Grizzlies' end wall. Pearson gets it towards Hoffman. His shot is blocked by the stick of Bukata. As puck goes back towards the near side, Malmquist in the corner couldn't calm it down. As Shea gets to Voigt, who bounced it to his right for Manning. Manning at neutral ice dumps it in. Manning collides as Punnett delivers a big shot. Punnett's a big guy at 6'2", 202 pounds. Steelheads spread the ice as we played a minute, and there's still no score. Steelheads have one shot. Grizzlies yet to fire away on goaltender Benny Halaz. Shot from the right side, saved by McKay. Rebound goes towards Adam Berg in his first shift tonight, as Berge is lined up with Mick Messner and Reed Webster. All three of them returning Grizzlies. There's 9 returning Grizzlies forwards who are all in the lineup tonight. Bouncing puck over Webster's stick as the Steelheads throw up between the legs of Eric Parker, who played at Bowling Green State University last year. Calgary, Alberta native. Big-time hit delivered over in the corner, deep in the Steelhead zone. Messner right side, lefty shot goes wide as he missed the net. Stick side on Halaz. Now the Grizzlies from the left side. Doug Scott will fire away. Halaz makes a save and he holds on. Doug Scott didn't play last night as he's looking to make the club. He's on a tryout contract. 6'2", big defenseman out of college, first-year pro.
Well, good counterattack there by the Grizzlies. And McKay, first 2 shots, good chances, actually. He stood up tall there, so good sign. But nice counterattack there by the Grizzlies.
Both teams almost looks like a bit of a filling out process here early on. Just get a couple shifts in. Obviously, most of these guys are playing here for the first time.
Right, and some hitting going on. It is physical as we get this game started.
And they're big-time rivals for a reason. They don't call them the Battle of the Beast for nothing. Puck goes all the way on towards McKay, and it goes to Luke Salem, who's in his second stint with the Grizzlies. Played with Indy and Kalamazoo last year. As puck is turned over, Jordan Steinmetz, number 29, didn't play last night. Krista Darrow, last night's hero, as he gets pushed towards the boards by a Grizzly. And that is Ricketts, Jack Ricketts, who is in his first season as a pro. He had 20 goals with Quinnipiac College last season. As the Steelheads get cross center ice, they push into the offensive zone. Darrow gets cut off by the Grizzlies' Riley Connors, who's a strong two-way forward. Grizzlies over the offensive line. Ricketts gets it towards the far goal line. Now back towards Connors. He swings, and he gets cut off as he couldn't get much of a shot off. Idaho, from blue line to blue line, they try to get towards Genev, and it glances off his stick. We'll see if Scott can spell Genev's name during the first intermission. It's a pretty tough one. Look,
we're probably not going to do that.
how it's said is not anywhere the way it looks. Penn State product. He was great last night. He's going to be a good Steelhead all season. Out at neutral ice, Colby Enns gets the puck at the Utah line, and he'll slide it across to Hansen-Bukata, who gets off the boards. He's a strong defenseman, first-year pro Hansen-Bukata. As dumping it in is Simon Boyko, who's in his third full season as a pro. He played with Rapid City, Atlanta, and Kalamazoo last year. We played 3 minutes, no score. Steelheads have outshot the Grizzlies 2-0.
When you're talking about the, pronounced a little differently than it's spelled, that may be a good sign of a hockey name,
That's
in general.
right. He was born to be a hockey player. Doug Scott wearing number 17 dangles back and forth. He started camp wearing number 91 for the Grizzlies. Scott will push it to his left as Neil Shea gets the puck. Shea, 19 goals in 36 games last year, over to Boyko. Puck glides off a couple sticks back towards the Utah line. Now Idaho enters as Ports will throw it to the left side. Connor Punnett tried to fire towards the net, and it's sticked away by Christian Felton, second-year pro, although he's going to be listed as a rookie this season as he played with Adirondack and Kalamazoo a combined 20 games. Felton behind the net wearing number 42 gets to Scott. Scott looks like a pretty good skater. He's got a good chance to make the team. Gets across center ice, tried to dump it in and fanned on it as puck bounced off a Voigt stick. Coming up with is Caleb Pearson. He'll take a righty shot. Kick saved by McKay as it bounced off his left pad.
Both a nice shot and save there by McKay. Just quality.
Back to the right side, and a righty shot by Eric Parker goes wide. Idaho keeps in the offensive zone. Parker didn't play last night. We'll throw it towards the high slot. Lefty shot, glove save by McKay. That shot was taken by Mason Nevers. Actually, that was taken by Jason Horvath, number 27. Horvath played with Idaho and Maine last year, wearing number 27, 25 years old, out of Ontario.
Yeah, good stretch there by the Steelheads to put some pressure. Kept the puck in the zone. We're able to move it around a little bit. Looking for a screen from that shot up front. Just didn't work out for him.
Steelheads usually have a big team year in and year out and have some of those guys that can occupy time in front of the net and create those screens.
Well, that's so important at any level of hockey. You want guys that are willing to do the dirty work down low.
Those players are so valuable. Grizzlies in the offensive zone. Lepster right side, righty shot. Saved by Halaz, and he will hold on. Halaz played last season at UMass Lowell. First-year pro, 24 years old, 5'11", 181 pounds.
Well, good job by Halaz to slide over just the right amount. It's so easy. Of course, at this level, the goaltenders are so talented, but, so easy when you slide over to overslide a little bit and leave that post side a little bare, but he did a good job there.
Draw's going to be over in the right circle as that was the first shot taken by the Grizzlies tonight, and it was a good look by Reed Lepster. Utah wins the draw. Adamberg dangling back and forth. Tries to get up top to Salem, but it's sticked away by Idaho, and it flies into New Trice and into the Grizzlies zone. Salem gets the puck wearing number 6. He will skate around as puck goes back towards Adamberg. Long-range feed off his stick as Jeff Baum gets it towards New Trice as Baum out towards the Grizzlies with McMessner. Messner looking for a second pass, trying to get to Lepster, and it's stuck away by Brendan Hoffman as the Steelheads get out towards center ice. Pass goes tape to tape into the Grizzlies zone. Malmquist dancing around. Salem joins the play and kicks it away from Malmquist as Hoffman around the net as he will get it back towards the left point. Now to the high slot. Lefty shot saved by McKay, and he holds on. That shot was taken by Jeff Baum, who played with Belfast in the EIHL last season. Idaho's outshot Utah 5-1.
Apologize about the distractions. We're trying on the back end, of course, to work on some technical issues with Flow Hockey. So if you hear some background talking, I tried to mute, but
hey, that's fine. I've had some, a remote broadcast in Tulsa is nothing. You can't faze me. 5 years of remote broadcast in Tulsa. Shot off the draw, saved by McKay. I believe that was Genesev, the Penn State product. Genev gets the puck back once again. His last name starts with a D as Malmquist gets tripped up by Connors. No call. The officials last night let them play for the most part, and they're going to do so once again. Baum just outside the right circle, skates towards the corner as he shields away from Ricketts. Now back towards the left side. Lefty shot saved by McKay. That was taken by Genev. Hoffman, a strong player last season, 25 goals for the Studs, gets to the Baum. Now Genev will get it knifed away by Enns. Colby's his first name, out of North Dakota. He played with the Merrimack last season. Grizzlies bouncing puck as Genev gets it. As he's in the Steelhead zone, Idaho skating from left to right as we see it from, I believe, section 118. Pretty good view here. This arena actually is pretty reminiscent of what we see in Allen and Kansas City in this league. Very similar type build. John Gillot, left point. He'll take a lefty shot, saved by Halaz. Gillot didn't play last night. He played at Holy Cross College for 4 seasons. Puck is knifed away at New Trice and into the Steelheads bench area. 13:34 is the time remaining first period. I think we're only going to have one media timeout, and that might be under 10.
It is at the under 10 mark normally is what we do. Yeah, you mentioned the arena. Of course, they did a lot of studies, and I think you mentioned Kansas City may have been one of those facilities that he did for a community the size of Idaho Falls in the metro area here, and it's worked out great. And, of course, with the Spud Kings here, they needed a tenant to be more permanent, to be able to beat it, or to be able to fill, the schedule. And so we got that. I guess we're having a media timeout.
Those two people with the one with the they came out there and they're like, no, come back. And then they're like, let's just take a timeout. Maybe we'll take one as well. We'll be back in 30 seconds. Grizzlies and Steelheads no score. Idaho's outshot Utah 7-2. This is the Grizzlies Hockey Network.
Since 1939, America First has helped people start businesses, buy homes and cars, and achieve their financial goals. Today, our top priority is still the financial success of you and your family, which is why we're giving new members $100 when they sign up for a basic savings and checking account, and another $100 when they upgrade to premium checking and enroll in and use direct deposit. So head to americafirst.com today and join the credit union that always puts its members first.
Every new day is a chance to be kinder to your body and your mind. U of U Health is here to help you build strength and confidence every day. Let us help you be a better you. U of U Health, official health partner for the Utah Jazz, Utah Hockey Club, Utes Athletics, and the Utah Grizzlies. Take the first.
Idaho's got the puck as we're back to live action. 13 and a half minutes left in the first period. Still no score. Idaho's outshot Utah 7-2. Grizzlies get neutralized, and Evan Friesen gets belted. Friesen led the Wenatchee Wild in goals last season. Whistle blows. A lot of action near the Idaho bench. And it looks like the draw is going to be back at neutral ice.
Friesen did a good job to intercept that puck, but he got his pocket picked there as he went across the blue line. Missed opportunity, but they're going to drop the puck just outside the blue line for an offside.
Draw at neutral ice is won by Luke Manning and the Grizzlies. Manning will take a lot of the key faceoffs for the Grizzlies this season. As the puck rolls along the boards towards the near corner, Grizzlies skate from right to left as we see it from high atop Section 118. And they're still working on some technical difficulties with Flow Sports. And so we got a radio broadcast here. Ty Voigt gets the puck, takes a shot, save, rebound shot, saved by Halaz once again. Boy, Voigt had the first shot, Manning with the second.
Wow, that was amazing. Good reflexes there by Halaz.
Steelheads enter the zone, but it looks like Holmes entered before Walker came in with the puck, and the Steelheads are offside with 12:47 left in the first.
I sure wish we had a replay system up here. We're having numerous technical difficulties. We apologize about that, but what a pair of saves there by Halaz as the Grizz really put a lot of pressure on him that time.
Only 4 shots by the Grizzlies so far, but it looks like all 4 are grade A chances. As Grizzlies win the draw, Grizzlies have won their fair share of faceoffs here so far. Big collision at center ice. Play's been physical throughout, and you wouldn't expect anything less out of a Grizzlies Steelheads battle. Oddly enough, these teams will meet just 7 times during the regular season. Scrum over in the far corner as Reed Lepster delivers a push, and Eric Parker gets physical. Parker, 6'2", 174 pounds. Messer, the Grizzlies captain, tries to break free of Parker. He gets double teamed from both sides, does Messer. As the Grizzly knocks down a Steelhead aggressively. And now there's a penalty, and the Grizzlies are probably hoping that Idaho retaliates and gets a penalty of their own.
Yeah, this is going to be probably a cross-check. As they were scrumming in the corner there, I really couldn't see the number of the Grizzly player. There go. But like you said, you hope that there's somebody who throws a punch or something to even things out. But I don't think that's going to be the case.
Yeah, see the whistle, and some guys are good at it where it's like, all right, I know I got a penalty. Can I make you lose your cool and see if you can get a penalty as well?
I think it's Reed Lepster hitting off.
Yeah, Lepster looks to be the lone Grizzly going to the box. He got pretty physical there with Eric Parker. And it's Lepster going to the box, but Jason Horvath goes to the box as well.
What a break for the Grizzlies here.
Horvath gets a roughing minor, and it looks like a cross-check for Lepster. And we will play 4-on-4. Grizzlies were actually pretty good last season in 4-on-4 situations where they scored 7 goals. They only allowed 2 in 4-on-4 situations. Well, they're normally a team that's got pretty good speed, and you open up the ice a little bit.
Exactly.
And they really did a good job last year with that open ice.
Yeah, when those 4-on-4s, you really, of course, speed kills, and then you got players with good heads up that can make good passes. That's really going to be an advantage.
Riley Connors will take the draw. He was the captain at Yale University during the 2023-24 season, transferred to St. Lawrence University last year and ended the season starting his pro career with the Grizzlies. High slot, Doug Scott with the lefty shot. It goes wide. Connor's trying to shovel one towards the net, and Halaz made a save.
Nice back pass there. That was Christian Felton that just had that little sweet move, just that backhanded pass, able to get that shot away.
Doug Scott, 5'11", 201 pounds, out of North Vancouver, British Columbia. And he played at RIT, and he's on a tryout deal. And really with the Grizzlies only having 8 defensemen on their roster, he's got a good chance of making the team despite just being on a tryout deal.
Well, the few shifts he's been out on the ice, looks pretty strong so far.
Grizzlies have it as Riley Connors skates towards the right circle, gets around one Steelhead, tries to get around a second. Now he skates around the net towards the left side. Connors very strong with the puck. He shields Idaho away, drops it for Scott, who lays it for Griffin Ness. Ness fakes it towards Felton, fires towards the net. It goes wide. Ness played in 73 games last season, 59 with Toledo, 14 with Utah. As Connors has the puck, he'll fire towards the net, and a blocker saved by Halaz. Idaho comes back the other way. Steelheads under the offensive zone. Felton delivers a push on Geneyev. Puck goes back to New Trice. Connor punt it. Will settle things down at New Trice as they reset. Hoffman will bouncing off the Steelhead skating, and on with the puck is Evan Friesen. Skates into the zone. He loses his stick. His stick breaks. He wants a penalty, none to be had, as Friesen gets a stick from a teammate.
Yeah, a little aggressive there on that with a check with the stick, and he could have got the penalty, but they play on.
I usually hope when the stick breaks that's the indication of the referee that a call should be made. Jack Ricketts with a lefty shot from the left side, and that's blocked away by Halaz. It bounced off of his right pad. Less than 11 minutes left on a moving clock first period. No score. Idaho's outshot Utah 7-6, but Idaho did have a pretty strong shot advantage. Grizzlies have had a lot of good looks here early on. Behind Utah's net, Idaho will skate towards the right side. As taking the puck is Caleb Pearson. Pearson last season played in the college level, first-year pro, native of St. Mary's, Ontario. Puck goes back towards the left side, now down the middle of the ice. Pearson, he'll take a righty shot. He gets tripped up. Shot goes into the protective netting, and it's going to be a penalty. Yeah. Hooking's going to be the call. Salem and Shea skate towards the referee, but it looks like it's Neil Shea that's going to go to the box.
Yeah, it's actually 2 great examples of the 4-on-4 play. First, by the Grizzlies that they're in, controlling the puck for long periods of time, using your speed and your body to shield it. Then they had almost looked like the Harlem Globetrotters with their little passing out front there. And same thing there, and they put enough pressure, did these Steelheads, to be able to get that penalty. But puck control is really the key in that.
Well, they got the 3-man weave in basketball, a little bit of a 4-man weave there. McMester's on the ice shorthanded. Last night he scored a shorthanded goal, and last season here in Idaho Falls, you and I were in this very same spot, and he scored a 3-on-5 shorthanded goal. Yeah. So McMester, he's been outstanding for the Grizzlies. He's got the captaincy for a reason. Idaho wins the draw. The power plays for another 5 seconds, and the Steelheads get towards the left side. Now back towards the right. Righty shot save. Rebound shot save by McKay. And now we're skating 5-on-4 as Reed Lepster comes out of the box, as does Jason Horvath. Grizzlies clear it out.
It's interesting in this game in the stadium here. Of course, the same ownership group owns the Spud Kings as they do the Grizzlies.
Well,
but there's a lot of Steelhead fans in the area just because they're from Idaho and that sort of thing. So it's kind of split.
I do believe the Elmore's still on the Grizzly. I'll get back to you on that one. Idaho gets the puck. Hey, I have to laugh or else I'll cry for the next 6 months.
Yeah,
Idaho gets the puck. They move it back to Hoffman. Left side will take a righty shot. Goes wide. Oh, he was looking for a redirection. It was Pearson with a shot. He was looking for Hoffman to just kind of scoop it in.
Yeah, Hoffman was in good position on the weak side post.
Ness with the puck. Left side will take a righty shot, and it goes wide. Puck ricochets off the glass. The Elmore Sports Group's owned the Grizzlies for 30 years, and it's been a great ownership, great partnership, and really they've done a great job with the Spud Kings.
Yeah, they have. People who are not from, we'll let you call the play here.
Back towards the right side, righty shot. That one's blocked away by McKay. Shot taken by Mason Nevers. I guess without Flow Sports, we're on a radio style right now.
The big thing about, here in Idaho Falls, of course, the Spud Kings and the same ownership group and that sort of thing. People don't understand what an impact the Spud Kings have made. They draw over 4,000 for a junior team.
Which is that's really good.
Yeah, it is. It's outstanding. Of course, the Deneen Cup, as you mentioned earlier, this past season.
Back towards the left point. Idaho's in the offensive zone. Still no score. 8.5 minutes left in the first period. Chris Sodero. I tried to find Holmes out in front, and Holmes swung and missed. Pretty good idea by the Steelheads. Almost looks like they're trying to get that guy, out in front of the crease and see if they can get him a one-timer or some sort of look.
Yeah, they're doing a good job of taking the man on the weak side and putting him just outside the crease. And they've had 2 good opportunities in a row, have the Steelheads to get one in. It just hasn't worked out. So, I think if you're the Grizzlies, you want to do something about that. Move that guy out, be a little physical, because he's camped out right there.
We're skating 5-on-5. Holmes re-enters the offensive zone right wing. He tried to feed one out in front and bounced off of McKay. CJ Walker with the puck. He's a strong two-way forward. Trying to get up top. It bounced off an end stick. Now back towards the left side. Nevers will drop it for the high slot. One-timer goes wide. That was taken by Eric Parker, who played at Bowling Green State University last year. Idaho fires one in wide as they miss the net stick side on McKay. As Walker gets it back towards the right corner. Parker hacks away with ends. Both guys wear number 5 as Neil Shea dumps it in. Halas plays it behind his net, and he'll roll it towards the right side as Luke Manning tries to get physical on Jason Horvath. Horvath's a pretty big guy, 6'1", 198 pounds, but he looks bigger and stronger than that. 7:12 on a moving clock, first period. Still no score. Steelheads have outshot the Grizzlies 10-6, but both teams have to like their defensive effort so far.
Yeah, I like Manning's play there. Is strong against the boards, put a little physicality as they're trying to get the puck out, and that's how you get turnovers.
Centering pass for Connors. It just bounced off his skate as looked like it went towards his backhand a little bit. If that pass were maybe a couple inches to his right, he probably would have had a good shot on Halas. Doug Scott with the puck. He surveys. Now he moves up top for Ness. Ness tried to get a piece of it, but didn't. Icing is on the Grizzlies.
Yeah, missed. A little unfortunate there. I thought he was going to be able to tip that as it came by. That just scooted by. It looks like we're going to have another media.
I guess that's us. Well, it's an icing call, so even though the horn sounds will
Maybe
play
not.
on. As Grizzlies were called for icing. 6:39 left in the first period. Riley Connors will take the draw. We thank all the Steelheads fans for tuning in as Idaho's not doing a broadcast of any kind tonight, and hopefully Steelheads fans will enjoy Justin Russo, who replaces Cam McGuire, the multi-award-winning broadcaster, who is now with the AHL's Ontario Reign. Puck towards the left side. I got to find one of those fish costumes that Cam kept wearing. I don't know if a fish costume works for the Grizzlies. Maybe a bear costume or something. Maybe Grisby can let me be Grisby for a night.
I think we can get you a bear costume.
Puck back at center ice. Simon Boyko enters the zone. He played against the Grizzlies quite a bit as a member of Rapid City. Moves it across ice, and it deflects off the stick and flies out of play into section 110. Fan about row 5 comes away with a souvenir frozen vulcanized rubber disc.
Well, and the good thing is nobody got hit in the head, it looks
That's
like.
right. Those things come flying at pretty high rate of speed.
I'm kind of guessing we can get you a bear costume easier than we can get you a fish costume.
I think so. Fish costumes are a little bit more of a rare commodity. Although they are something that are worn by fans at Idaho Steelheads games. Same one that Cam McGuire wears, oddly enough. From the right point, righty shot, and that's saved by Halas. 5:59 left in the first. Looks like we got a timeout. No score as Idaho's outshot Utah 10-7. It's the Grizzlies Hockey Network.
Right now at Les Schwab Tires, it's the Fall Tire Fest sales event. Save up to $120 instantly on select sets of all-terrain or all-weather tires. And as always, you'll get America's best tire warranty. With a 60-day satisfaction guarantee, no hassle road hazard protection, and free maintenance for the life of your tires. Get dependable, all-weather traction with the best service in the business. Get more from less.
Every new day is a chance to be kinder to your body and your mind. U of U Health is here to help you build strength and confidence every day. Let us help you be a better you. U of U Health, official health partner for the Utah Jazz, Utah Hockey Club, Utes Athletics, and the Utah Grizzlies. Take the first step today at uofuhealth.org.
.59 is the time remaining first period. No score between the Grizzlies and Steelheads. Dryden McCabe, we'll talk about him all season long, I got to imagine. He was in training camp this season, I believe, with either Tucson or with the Utah Mammoth. As McKay's is looking for an AHL contract, I believe, with Tucson. He spent last year in the AHL with Ontario and also was with Greenville and Bloomington in this league. McKay, 27 years old. He will be 28 on November 25th. Drop in the Steelhead zone, won by Idaho as it rolls around towards the near corner. Noah Gansky in the area for the Grizzlies, a big 6'7" defenseman, played with Fort Wayne the last couple of years, throws cross ice as the Steelheads get it, as Genev fans on it. A Grizzly goes to one knee, and now push it back to neutral ice. Genev gets the puck as the Steelheads will reset shop, skating from left to right late in the first period.
Yeah,
Genev gets the puck, and he'll loft it in, gloved and dropped by Luke Salem.
Just noticing Gansky's size. You don't see many 6'7" guys in any level of hockey.
And, the interesting thing, I saw him last night, he actually skates really well for a guy that's 6'7". He actually moves, has good movement skills, and he was a plus 29 combined in his last 2 years with Fort Wayne. In fact, I think he was actually on the same line as Kyle Mayhew last season. Mayhew was the league's defenseman of the year. And in second place in the defenseman of the year category was Grizzly defenseman Derek Dashke, who's got an AHL contract with Abbotsford. Grizzlies have the puck as they skate from right to left. Aiden Hansi-Bukata gets it towards the left side to Berg, who dumps it in. Berg was nearby Jake Boltman. That's Boltman with two N's. And I got to imagine he's Bold or Boldy or something of that effect in the Steelheads locker room. Messner from the left point fires a prayer, and like my life, it goes unanswered as Berg to the right side over towards Messner. Now the Steelheads have it as Idaho's Holmes gets it back towards the right side as Holmes gets held up with Berg and Hansen-Bukata as well. Messner comes out with the puck as Lebster gets across center ice, gets the Messner on line. Lebster and Messner on the same line. Maybe that's going to be the case all year. Felton takes the puck and it's blocked away. Action in front of the crease. Idaho comes out with the loose change as they come back the other way. Steelheads will loft it into the Grizzlies zone. As Enns will slide it towards his right. Christian Felton with the puck. He'll bounce to his right. Grizzlies are on side. As Utah moves it across Neil Shea. Skates towards the left circle. Centers it out in front. Grizzlies on it. Looked like Christian Felton was trying to put a move on Halaz, but didn't have any time for it.
Nice heads-up feed there. Just couldn't quite keep it on his stick, keep control of it.
Manning dances around. Right circle. Lefty shots blocked. Manning gets it back. And so they're back into the corner now up top to Christian Felton, who last year had an NHL contract with Vancouver. He'll tap it off the far wing boards. Long-range pass connects. Pearson skates down Broadway. Left circle. Righty shot. Saved by McKay. Rebound. Pearson gets it along the right side. He loses it. Voigt will battle with Malmquist. Now the puck goes reverse to Pearson. He feeds up top. Idaho gets it across to Punnett, but Punnett almost voluntarily exits the zone as he will reset shop. Steelheads want to enter with momentum. Big-time hit delivered by Doug Scott as a Steelhead goes flying. As White Pearson went flying, Doug Scott looks like he packs the wall up. Didn't play last night. Manning left side. Lefty shot. Glove saved by Halaz. He holds on. 3:29 left in the first period.
That may be a defenseman sending a little message because Pearson's been very active here in this period. He's had a couple really good chances and maybe just a chance to say hello in the neutral zone and make him feel it a little bit.
We've had some pretty good hockey. You couldn't tell this was a preseason game with as smoothly as it's going.
And, last year it had a different vibe. This year it seems a little notch intensity up. Now, obviously a year difference, you kind of forget things, but it really seems that way to me.
Seems like the action's been pretty crisp. The passing has been better, and really both teams defensively seem to be on point. Idaho wins the draw as puck rolls around as Chris Dodaro, his brother Charlie Dodaro, is a scratch tonight. Chris Dodaro, the number one star last night, as Ricketts trying to get it towards Ness. It bounced off of Ness's stick. Steelheads will tap it off the glass. It's gloved and dropped by Ricketts, who enters on side. He's got an AHL contract with the Tucson Roadrunners. We'll go over NHL and ECHL scores during the first intermission, and including the Stars game against the Avalanche and the Utah Mammoth taking on the Nashville Predators. Dancing around, Griffin Ness gets run into by a Steelhead as Idaho moves it back to the left side. Now the Steelhead spread the ice. Grizzlies back defensively 2-on-3. So Idaho just dumps it in. Less than 3 minutes left in the first period. And there's still no score. Both teams have to like the way they perform defensively. Connors will move it ahead and sweep all the way towards Halaz, who lets it go. He raises his left arm, and the linesmen raise their right arm as icing is on the Grizzlies.
Yeah, just a missed pass there. You never want. I guess there are good times to take an icing, but that really wasn't one of them. Couldn't get the connection there. But fans a little subdued right now. But earlier they were really into this game.
I think good defensive hockey can do that sometimes, where it can kind of quiet down a crowd. And both the Grizzlies and the Steelheads were looking to improve defensively this year, and I think both coaches have to be happy in that regard.
Yes.
Grizzlies have the puck. Holmes takes it away from Connors. He'll move it to the left side. Geneva will take a lefty shot. Saved by McKay off his glove. Connors clears it out. And it looks like it's going to be icing on the Grizzlies. No, they wave it off.
Wow.
As puck kind of slowly went towards the Steelhead zone.
It did make the line, but not by much.
Idaho's Geneva enters from the left side. Skates towards a circle. Lefty shot off of McKay's glove. Rebound goes towards Ends. And Ends, for some reason, I'm thinking about Lincoln Earn from last season's club. But Colby Ends wearing number 5 as the Steelheads. Geneva gets knifed away by Ends. As coming up with the puck is Simon Boyko. His brother Josh Boyko is a goaltender who's currently in the SPHL. He's also spent some time in the ECHL. His name's Josh Boyko, and Simon's his brother, and he's a member of the Grizzlies, native of Ontario. Idaho with the puck. Geneva at center ice, skates east-west, or east-west would be it. North-south would be a skating straight as the Idaho Steelheads have the puck. Boltman, who wears number 44, played at Northeastern University in Hockey East. Steelheads dump it in. McKay behind his net, gets towards Adam Berg on the near side. No wobble, the puck off the boards to Lebster. He gets at center ice, and Lebster enters the zone, and he'll drop it as Steelheads knifed it away. As Messner, a Steelhead, loses his stick. Messner's a Grizzlies captain once again this year. Dylan Fitz has an A on his sweater, but he's out of the lineup. And it looks like all 4 of the Grizzlies, their scratches, are sitting in section 117 nearby. As Lebster will move it to the right side. Adam Berg runs it down. As Berg around the net, he gets cut off by Parker as Berg's able to sweep it back towards the near side. As Salem in the area tries to hold the line, he gets pushed towards the ice by Horvath. As Hoffman and Messner collide. Hoffman held up Messner's stick, but Hoffman comes up with it right side. Righty shot goes wide. Horvath gets the puck, fakes the shot, tries to get around Messner. As Horvath lost the puck, Lebster comes up with it. Lebster throws it towards the Grizzlies bench, which is on the near side, and how we're describing it. Grizzlies will chip it in. Utah makes a full line change as Shea, Manning, and Voigt enter the ice. That's a very fast forward trio, and I wonder if that's going to be a forward line this upcoming season. It's got a ton of potential. Colby Ends collides with the other number 5, Eric Parker. As action deep in the Steelhead zone. Less than 20 seconds left in the first period. Manning up with it as he gets cut off, and Halas comes up with the puck. Good job by Idaho in building a wall in front of the crease. Like Grizzlies did what they could to try to get in there, but Manning's shot was just easily collected by Halas.
Yeah, they didn't give him much room there and really put good pressure along the boards, which prevented that any type of a pass getting out there. And so the only one time that I've seen McKay kind of be a little unsure was on that last series down here. He had that puck off his glove and didn't know where it went. It went off the tip of his glove. That's really the only bump in the road for him so far.
Both goaltenders have looked sharp. Both defensive units have looked sharp. 10 seconds left. Right side lefty shot by Shea is saved by Halas. And that's the 10th shot by the Grizzlies so far tonight. Idaho's taken 13. As we mentioned before, really both teams have to, the defensive efforts and really the very assignment sound defensively of both teams been so far.
Right. And I personally love defensive hockey, especially when it involves good, clean checking, a lot of physical play, which we've seen tonight.
Idaho wins the face-off with 5 seconds left. They will flip it towards the Idaho line. Nobody's able to get a shot off as the horn sounds, and that will do it for 20 minutes here at Mountain America Center. And really was a period dominated by good defensive play. Yeah. Idaho had an abbreviated power play, but otherwise both coaches have to like what they've seen so far.
Yeah, I think so. And from the Grizzlies standpoint, they've had a what I call counter punches, where the Idaho's come down, controlled a little bit of the play, but they've gone right back in and put some pressure. And so I think you need to develop that and see more of that in the second period, and I think they'll be all right.
Idaho nothing, Utah nothing. Good crowd here. Saw a pretty strong first period of hockey. We'll see if we see some more offensive action here in the second, but both coaches have to like what they've seen from their units so far. Well, we'll come back and see. We can statistically recap the first period. There's not a whole lot there. Neither team really had. I think Idaho had an abbreviated power play at one point. We'll go over some league scores and some NHL scores along the way. After one period, no score here at Mountain America Center, the second of 2 preseason games this weekend. Don't forget the Grizzlies open up 6 days from now as they're on the road to take on the Greenville Swamp Rabbits. We'll come back and talk some hockey on the other side. This is the Utah Grizzlies Hockey Network.
Les Schwab changed the tire game more than 70 years ago. Today, we still believe you should get more from less. Like more hustle, less hassle. More of the best service around, less of the runaround. Because we include America's best tire warranty in every tire we sell. So you get more unbeatable warranty, less charging you extra. It's why we're more than proud to say, you get more from less.
From commercial to recreational truck accessories, Mountain Land Truck Outfitters has got what you need. Flatbeds, spray and bed liners, lifts and leveling kits, wheels and tires. Mountain Land Truck Outfitters proudly uses a brand you know and trust. And with our experienced, knowledgeable, and friendly staff, your visit here will be informative and enjoyable. Stop into our convenient location in Provo at 265 South 100 West or call 801-225-4637 to get a quote for your fleet or individual truck. Mountain Land Truck Outfitters.
After one period here at Mountain America Center in Idaho Falls, Grizzlies and Steelheads no score. Idaho led Utah in shots 13-10 in the first period. Luke Manning led the Grizzlies with 3 shots. Neil Shea had 2. Riley Connors, Noah Gansky, Reed Lepster, John Gillott, and Ty Voigt each had 1 shot. For the Steelheads, Caleb Pearson made a strong impression. Pearson had 3 shots for Idaho in the first period. Danny Genev had 3 shots as well, and 1 shot each for Baum, Hoffman, Walker, Ports, Nevers, Horvath, and Jake Boltman also had 1 shot for the Steelheads in the first period. There's a few other games in action in the league. It looks like a few of them have gone final. Savannah defeats Greensboro 5-1. Savannah got goals from 5 different players. Greensboro's lone goal was scored by Logan Nelson, 18:59 in the second period. Former Grizzlies athletic trainer Colin Lee, who spent 5 seasons as Grizzlies athletic trainer. Lee is now with the Greensboro Gargoyles, who I believe are partly owned by Paul Bissonnette. Savannah defeats Greensboro 5-1 in preseason action. At Fishers Event Center in Fishers, Indiana, hometown of the great Mike Folta, Indy defeats Bloomington 2-1. Joseph scored the game-deciding goal 6:20 into the second period. In fact, Indy scored the first 2 goals of the contest. Bloomington scored late in the second period. Another game that's gone final. Maine defeats Worcester 3-2. Looks like no goals by either by former Grizzlies, although Jay Campagna scored a goal for Worcester. I wonder if that's J.C. Campagna, who was with the Grizzlies at one point a couple years ago. Adirondack shuts out Trois-Rivières 3-0. Adirondack outshot the defending champion Lions 26-17. Halfway through the second period, no score between Wheeling and Greensville. Remember, the Greensville Swamp Rabbits will be the Grizzlies' opponent 6 days from now, and former Grizzly forward Keaton Mastrodonado is on the Greensville roster. He's got an AHL contract with the Ontario Reign. Unfortunately, Mastrodonado didn't make that roster, and he's going to start the season in Greenville. Kalamazoo defeats Toledo 5-3. Former Grizzly Chad Hillebrand scored 2 of the 3 goals for the Toledo Walleye. Nolan Walker had 1 of the goals for Kalamazoo, and Colin Sackelman also had a goal for the Wings. And so that one's gone final. Kalamazoo defeats Toledo 5-3. After 2 periods, Steve Martinson's Allen Americans lead Tulsa 5-0. Steve Martinson returning as Allen Americans head coach, and the Allen Americans look like they're going to bring back a rough and power style of hockey, and that's going to be an interesting brand as Allen looks to improve from their last place finish last season. They're off to a pretty good start. They're 1-0 in the preseason. They got a win last night, and they lead 5-0 against the Tulsa Oilers after 2 periods this evening. Got a great crowd here at Mountain America Center, as I believe there's 2,900 tickets. This place holds about 4,200, 4,300, just slightly below what you see in Kansas City and Allen, but it's a very similar setup. And if you've ever been to those arenas, the Mountain America Center is kind of in that same mold, which I think was kind of a CHL mold that happened when arenas were built about 15 to 20 years ago. Well, let's go over some NHL scores while we're here. After 2 periods, the Nashville Predators lead the Utah Mammoth 2-1. Logan Cooley scored 2:21 into the first period with Dylan Gunther and J.J. Paterka getting the assists. Blake Forsberg tied it up 7:23 into the first period and 13:13 into the second period. Eric Holla scored 13-13. And Holla, if you hear me, as Eric is now on the board for the Predators this season. And after 2 periods, Nashville leads Utah 2-1. That looks like my nephew Cassius is tuned into the game. Certainly great to have Cassius here. And how about Cassius's dad? His father, Ike, is celebrating a birthday today. Happy birthday, Ike. And Cassius is certainly watching. We're certainly happy to have him along. He's a great kid, and Cassius is, I think his birthday is coming up soon as well. In fact, I think he's having a birthday at some point, birthday party at some point. So we give a shout out to Cassius, who's turned into the game. He's been a lot of fun to hang out with over the last 5 years of his life. So happy birthday to Cassius's father, Ike, and certainly glad to have them tuned into the Grizzlies Hockey Network. One of the big games we're watching tonight involves the Dallas Stars and the Colorado Avalanche. That game is through 1 period. It looks like Dallas has a 1-0 lead over Colorado. When we come back, we'll go over some of the other NHL scores and also talk some hockey. We'll break down both rosters a little bit as we get to know some of the new Grizzlies. After 1 period, no score. Both teams are pretty solid defensively, and I think both Everett Sheen for the Grizzlies, Ryan Anderson for the Grizzlies, Everett Sheen for the Steelheads, Ryan Anderson for the Grizzlies, have to be happy with their defensive efforts. And we're certainly thinking about head coach John Buchanan as he is away from the team dealing with a family emergency, and we're certainly wishing all the best for the Grizzlies' new head coach, John Buchanan. When we come back, we'll talk some hockey and go over some other NHL scores. It's the Utah Grizzlies Hockey Network.
Every new day is a chance to be kinder to your body and your mind. U of U Health is here to help you build strength and confidence every day. Let us help you be a better you. U of U Health, official health partner for the Utah Jazz, Utah Hockey Club, Utes Athletics, and the Utah Grizzlies. Take the first step today at uofuhealth.org.
Welcome back to Utah Grizzlies Hockey. I'm Tyson Whiting. As there's some other NHL action, first intermission, Stars lead the Avalanche 1-0. Thomas Hartley has the Dallas goalie scored 18:51 into the first period. Mikko Rantanen and Lundqvist each picked up an assist. Late third period, Capitals lead the Islanders 4-2. Looks like no goals for Alex Ovechkin, but Ovechkin does have 1 assist tonight. Duclair and Schaefer each have the goals for the Islanders, but Washington, late in regulation, leads the Islanders 4-2. Late third period, Canadians are holding to a 3-2 lead over the Blackhawks. That game is pretty close to going final. Connor Bedard has one of the goals for Chicago, his second of the year. Cole Caulfield found the back of the net for the first time this season for Montreal. In overtime, Flyers and the Hurricanes are tied at 3. Late second period, Blue Jackets lead the Wild 3-2. Starting at 8 o'clock, so a few minutes from now, Canucks are at the Oilers, Ducks are at the Sharks, and the Golden Knights are at the Kraken. Few NHL finals tonight. Jets get a 3-2 victory over the Kings, as the Kings outshot the Jets 32-27, but it's Winnipeg coming away with the victory. The game-winning goal was scored 11:47 into the third period as Mark Scheifele got his second of the year. Blues defeat the Flames 4-2, as the shots were pretty close to even in that game. Pierce Suter, Jake Neighbors each scored goals for St. Louis, as did Robert Thomas. Actually, Neighbors had 2 goals for the Blues in their 4-2 victory over Calgary. Bruins get a 3-1 victory over the Buffalo Sabres, as looks like Buffalo got goals from 3 different players. Red Wings defeat the Maple Leafs 6-3. Devils over the Lightning 5-3. And the Panthers get a 6-2 win over Ottawa. One more final in the Mike Sullivan special. Rangers get a 6-1 victory over the Pittsburgh Penguins. And the Utah Mammoth, they trail 2-1 after 2 periods. They are on the road taking on the Nashville Predators. So it'll be a ton of fun next week. Grizzlies open up in Greensville, as their home opener will be on Saturday, October 25th, exactly 2 weeks from now. We got a ton of fun stuff happening in and around Maverick Center all season long. The Utah Mammoth open up with their home slate on Wednesday night, October 15th, as they take on the Calgary Flames. And with that, I believe a new mascot might be unveiled, and I'm certainly curious to see what it looks like. Is it a big elephant? Is it a small elephant? Is it not even an elephant? Or maybe, whatever mascot that they were going to use for the Yeti, maybe they use that. I'm not sure. I got to imagine whatever they come up with for a mascot, it's going to be a big tusk that's going to be there, and that's probably going to take up a lot of the mascot costume. So I'm really looking forward to it, as we are just 4 days away, and I am counting down the days, believe me, for the unveiling of the Utah Mammoth mascot for their home opener. Or maybe they won't even unveil the mascot as well. I don't know, but it certainly should be a lot of fun. Looks like the second period is going to start in 7 minutes of real time. For the Grizzlies coming into this season, one of the interesting topics was all the new defensemen, as only Luke Lemaster and Luke Salem are Grizzlies that have previous experience on the club. And obviously Lemaster was just the final month last season. And for Luke Salem, it was just a cup of coffee to start his pro career after the 2023-24 season. Other than that, it's a brand new defensive unit. We mentioned Noah Gansky quite a bit this weekend, not only tonight, but last night as well. 6'7", 209 pounds, 26 years old, third full season as a pro. And last year with Fort Wayne, he was a plus 14 as he was paired up with the great Kyle Mayhew, who I believe is playing in the American Hockey League right now. Gansky also has 15 games of playoff experience with Fort Wayne, played his college hockey at Northern Michigan University, and also played at the University of Wisconsin River Falls. And he's a big presence. And, for a guy that's 6'7", 209, he skates really well. And he's really been tremendous this weekend. It'll be interesting to see if we see some more power play situations. Obviously, the Grizzlies would probably like to work on the penalty kill a little bit. Utah only had 2 power plays last night, and they haven't had a power play so far. Aiden Hansen-Bukata and Christian Feltner, 2 guys that have looked pretty strong in camp. Avery Winslow's looked pretty good as well. I don't think Winslow's in the Grizzlies lineup tonight, but he spent the last 2 years with the Orlando Solar Bears, and looks like he's a pretty strong addition. I really liked what I saw from Colby Enns in the first period, the 26-year-old rookie who's got an ECHL contract. He played 29 games with Merrimack last year, and he got in 1 game with the Iowa Heartlanders as he made his pro debut on March 20th of 2025 against Wichita. So Enns looked good. Luke Salem has been solid for the Grizzlies, and really, you might not necessarily see the big offensive performances by any one defenseman like we saw last year with Derek Dashke, like we saw 2 years ago with Josh Wesley. In the 2022 season with Charles Edward Dastu. I mean, that's one that we'll probably never see again. There was a guy that in the postseason did Dastu in 2022, broke the league playoff record for goals in just over 2 rounds. Dastu was actually a final cut for the Tampa Bay Lightning this season. He was one of the final 32 players on the Lightning roster prior to the season. So who knows, maybe 1 or 2 defensemen go down for Tampa Bay. We could see the great Charles Edward Dastu in an NHL uniform, and that would certainly be a ton of fun to see. And it's also been fun to see Trent Miner in an NHL uniform to start the year, the Grizzlies' all-time shutout king. And for Miner, he's probably going to go back to the American Hockey League when Mackenzie Blackwood gets back and gets healthy. But, Trent Miner has been somebody that for the Grizzlies for 3 seasons, he was a brick wall. And really, when you think about the 2023 Kelly Cup playoffs where the Grizzlies won the first 2 games in Idaho, and remember that was with an Idaho team that broke a lot of regular season wins records. And the Grizzlies came into Idaho, won the first 2 games solely because of Trent Miner. And if I remember right, he either got a shutout in both games or he got a shutout in one and only allowed one in the other. Trent Miner was unbelievable, and he was a big part as to why the Grizzlies had a chance in that series. And Idaho came back and won 4 straight overtime games, which is actually the second time that's happened in the last 7 years, where the Steelheads won 4 straight overtime playoff games against the Grizzlies. So, it's one of those things that we've got a lot of great memories, and we'll share them all over the course of this season. And watching Trent Miner for that 3-year stretch was certainly one of the most fun parts of Grizzlies hockey here in the last 7 years as an affiliate with the Colorado Avalanche. This begins the 8th year as the Grizzlies are affiliated with the Colorado Avalanche. They may get some help this season from the Utah Mammoth as well, as we do have 2 Tucson Roadrunner contract guys and Jack Ricketts and Dylan Wells on the roster. Well, Everett Sheen and Keenan Kelly, the Idaho Falls Brain Trust, have actually got similar hairstyles. They're going to return to their bench, and Ryan Anderson is going to walk to the bench, as is Eric Hudson, as Anderson walking along the boards. And once again, we send our Deepest wishes to John Buchanan as he's back at home dealing with the family emergency, and hopefully we'll see Coach next week and all season as he is the 9th head coach in Utah Grizzlies history. We'll come back in 1 minute and have second period action. You've been tuned into the Intermission Report on the Utah Grizzlies Hockey Network.
From commercial to recreational truck accessories, Mountain Land Truck Outfitters has got what you need. Flatbeds, spray and bed liners, lifts and leveling kits, wheels and tires. Mountain Land Truck Outfitters proudly uses a brand you know and trust. And with our experienced, knowledgeable, and friendly staff, your visit here will be informative and enjoyable. Stop into our convenient location in Provo at 265 South 100 West or call 801-225-4637 to get a quote for your fleet or individual truck. Mountain Land Truck Outfitters.
Welcome back to the Grizzlies Hockey Network. I'm Tyson Whiting, hanging out with Scott Bradford tonight, the voice of the Idaho Falls Spud Kings. How are things going with the Spud Kings so far this season?
Well, so far so good. You know, of course, it's kind of hard to top last year with the Deneen Cup Championship, but so far so good. They're on the road for, it was odd to have had a very busy September here at the Mountain America Center, and they're on the road for a while. But oddly enough, a busy week because Wednesday and Thursday, some midweek games normally didn't happen in junior hockey, but we've got that this week. So very busy week here at the Mountain America Center.
Idaho Falls Spud Kings, they normally play teams like the Utah Outliers, Ogden Mustangs, and that's certainly a very competitive division. The Utah teams have certainly gotten a boost from the presence of the National Hockey League and really hockey in general in Utah taking a step up. And I think even kind of trickles here to Idaho Falls. With
I would agree with you. Yeah, and, we've been obviously Idaho Falls wanted to build this facility, and it was the idea of forming the Spud Kings and coming into, being, if you will, that allowed this facility to have at least one tenant with a consistent schedule. So
I remember in 2018, Kevin Green was kind of talking about the plans of this building when I was with the Chuckers. They're coming up with everything, and looked like whatever they came up with, it turned out to be a beauty.
Well, it is a good hockey town. A lot of hockey fans. They're knowledgeable, and they're loving the game so far.
It's been a fun game so far, dominated by a little bit by defense. Neither team's really had much of a power play. Idaho had an abbreviated one at some point during the first period. Rink wide feed to the right side is gone to Manning. He tried to lay it for Ty Voigt, but an Idaho Steelhead, and Boltman in particular, took his time and space away. Grizzlies enter from the left side as Hanson Bukata gets nailed to the boards. Ty Voigt gets it in the right corner. He feeds up top. Grizzlies skate from left to right here in the period. As Enns fires a righty shot, glove saved by Benny Halaz, who was outstanding in the first period. So the first shot in the second period goes to the Grizzlies and Colby Enns.
Sometimes it's the little things that you don't notice that are away from the puck that make the difference. Manning that time was down low, expecting the pass. The puck went outside the offensive zone. He had to hustle to make sure there was no offside, which allowed then a chance to be taken.
Manning, a heads-up player. He's a very smart player with a high hockey IQ. Off the draw high slot, Doug Scott with a lefty shot saved by Halaz, and he holds on. As Doug Scott, who didn't play last night, wearing number 17, started camp as number 91, played at RIT the last few years, native of North Vancouver, British Columbia. The two defensive scratches for the Grizzlies tonight are Luke LeMaster and Avery Winslow. Grizzlies win the draw. Berg's out there with Messner and Lepster as Berg kind of takes over Tyler Gratton's spot in that lineup. Gratton, who led the Reading Royals with 20 goals last season, sitting this one out. And Berg's on the top line with Lepster and Messner on the lineup sheet. Idaho gets the puck as Stein Metz rolls around. He played at Eaters Limburg last season, native of Wisconsin. Puck's deep in the Grizzlies zone as McKay looks over his right shoulder. A hit as Felton pushes a Steelhead in the corner. Scott nearby trying to poke the puck away as Lepster comes up with it. Lepster moves it ahead. Grizzlies cross center ice as Messner moves to his left for Berg. Pass goes tape to tape. Berg gets knocked down by Aiden Reshuk, who played at Boston College last year. As Idaho over the line. Chris Sedero, last night's hero, drops it off, but the Steelheads are offside as Looked like Dodaro tried to drop it for Walker, but Walker is out of the zone.
Yeah. That other play down here, the Reshek really did a good job to shoulder him off on that play and prevent any advance toward the goal. Got things started in the other direction.
So it's a neutral zone draw. 18:37 is left in the second period. Grizzlies have the lone 2 shots in the frame. It's now 13-12 in the shot count for Idaho. Still no scores. Holmes gets knifed away. It goes back to neutral ice. Steelheads will go back into their own zone. Connor Punnett will get it to Reshek, who wears number 77. Reshek gets hit by Griffin Ness. Both guys incidentally wearing number 77 tonight. As Grizzlies spread the ice, Utah gets the Ness at neutral ice. Ness will move it to his right as Riley Connors gets it, as Punnett couldn't get his stick long enough to try to deflect it. Connors gets belted behind the Idaho net. Steelheads come back the other way.
That was very close.
Rickett.
Oh, go ahead.
Ness gets the center ice, throws it towards the Grizzlies bench. Resick back up with it deep in the Steelhead zone. As Nevers gets the puck. No relation to Ernie Nevers, the former NHL great back into the NFL great back in the 20s and 30s. Ernie Nevers had a game where he had like 6 or 7 touchdowns. Everybody talked about it for many, many years. Salem left circle, gets double teamed, couldn't get a shot off as Punnett took his time and space away. Punnett with an NHL contract. He might be Idaho's most dependable defenseman this year. Matt Anderson was outstanding last night, and Trevor Zinn's been consistent over the last couple of years. He's back with Idaho as Holmes will poke it to center ice. Simon Boyko gets it back, and he'll backhand it towards the left point as the Grizzlies enter. Boyko trying to get there. Reshek rolls it along the boards as Genev lost the puck, ends back in the right point. His pass is knocked away by Hoffman. Grizzlies reset as Boyko whips it around the boards, hits the top of the wall. As John Gillot, he'll take a shot, and it's blocked by his own guy. As Friesen picks up the puck, skates just outside the right circle near the boards. Friesen gets hit in the back by Punnett. As the puck goes towards Boyko, wearing number 92. Boyko over there with Gillot. Gillot races behind Idaho's net. Steelheads come up with the 50-50 puck as Punnett will saucer it ahead to Hoffman, who gets across center ice, gets around Boyko. Puck gets poked away. Punnett will play it, and he'll step over the line 2-on-2. He gets it knifed away by a Grizzly, and Enns will clear it out. It's going to be icing on Utah.
Well, good poke check there. I thought they were going to get a little drop pass and a good shot opportunity for the Steelhead, but good poke check by the Grizzly player. Unfortunately, the clear went down the ice, and they'll have to do a defensive zone face-off here.
Both teams offensive are having a tough time breaking free as both defensive units have really been sound.
Yeah, and in the first period, there were a few really good chances by both teams. I mean, really open chances. But you're right. Overall, the defenses have been very stout.
Idaho wins the offensive zone draw. They fire a wide shot on McKay. As Dryden McKay, who's actually named after Ken Dryden.
Oh, really?
Long-time Montreal Canadian who unfortunately passed away recently. But
it's good to know you're named after him, especially if you're a hockey player.
He was born to be a goaltender. There's no doubt about it. As Idaho back towards the right side, they're still in the offensive zone. They drop it to neutralize as Parker plays the puck, moves ahead. Idaho resets as Pearson whips it around the boards. Caleb's his first name, and it's Caleb with a K, K-A-L-E-B. As Grizzlies over in the left corner in their own zone, they try to get up ahead. As now Utah back up with it. As rink-wide feed is wide. Voigt pitchforked it ahead. Horvath plays it. But both defensive units really have done a great job. Both coaches have to be happy with what they've seen. Idaho enters from the right side as Horvath gets double-teamed. Shea in the area along with Manning as Pearson rolls it along the wall. Fans pretty quiet here in Idaho, just observing all the action. Voigt with the puck kind of reminds me physically of Trey Bradley. If he's as fast and as good as the Grizzlies are offside, Neil Shea entered the zone. The puck ended up exiting. So the whistle blows, and that fast forward line of Manning, Voigt, and Shea exit. And we'll have Berg, Messner, and Lepster for Utah.
Well, that Manning Shea line has been very good. Probably the best line out there tonight. So just haven't put one in the back of the net. But I tend to think it's coming.
You almost wonder if offense is going to get started with somebody getting a power play. But both teams have played a clean game, and there really haven't been any plays where you think, penalty could have been called there.
Right. You mentioned it earlier in the broadcast that, last night it was pretty even 5-on-5, and the real difference was the special teams, for Idaho.
And it looks like it's pretty even so far, 5-on-5 tonight. And that's basically all we played this evening. And a little bit of 4-on-4 action.
Well, I was going to say the 4-on-4 was very even also. Both teams that's where they really had some really good opportunities in that.
Grizzlies deep in their own zone, skating from left to right as they get the puck towards Christian Felton. Felton, a pretty good skater, gets across center ice, and he will wobble it in as it goes towards the left corner. Berg chasing after it. Lebster gets there first. Now over to Messner. Messner dancing around as he gets hit in the back. Messner strong with the puck, shielding it away from Baum. Out to the high slot. Goes back towards Messner. He'll fire a lefty shot that goes wide as it bounced on one hop of the ice. Pass towards the middle is bounced off of Lebster's leg. Berg in the area delivers a big-time hit on Steinmetz. Berg, a strong two-way forward. He scored a big shorthanded goal in the final regular season game on April 12th against Rapid City.
I don't know how the broadcast is going to come out since we don't have the replay, but that shot there that Idaho had just recently, it went wide, but it was so close because the tip was set up. And sometimes you don't see that in the broadcast. It was right in front of us in our broadcast position.
Very much a game of inches. Ricketts has the puck right side. His shot's blocked by Punnett. Punnett listed at 6'2". He's probably closer to 6'3", 6'4". Connors trying to brush it ahead to Ricketts. Ricketts over in the right corner, gets double teamed. He'll lay it for Ness. Ness tries to skate around the net, gets cut off by Punnett. He reverses field, gets it to Connors. Righty shot goes wide. As Salem keeps it in as he extended his stick in the left point. He moves to Ricketts over to Connors. Connors in the left corner tries to sidestep Ports. Siren pass, lefty shot saved by Palaz, and it goes out of play. The shot was taken by Jack Ricketts.
Yeah, Jack Ricketts had a good look that time, and I was almost ready to make the comment that, a lot of the chances are coming from sharp angles, which is a benefit for the defense and the goaltender. You really needed to get some in the high slot or out front. They did that time and got a quality chance.
Probably looking for a screen or maybe a deflection. Both goaltenders have been on point, and both defensive units have been outstanding. We'll come back in 30 seconds as there's still no score, 13:26 left in the second period. This is the Grizzlies Hockey Network.
From commercial to recreational truck accessories, Mountain Land Truck Outfitters has got what you need. Flatbeds, spray and bed liners, lifts and leveling kits, wheels and tires. Mountain Land Truck Outfitters proudly uses a brand you know and trust. And with our experienced, knowledgeable, and friendly staff, your visit here will be informative and enjoyable. Stop into our convenient location in Provo at 265 South 100 West or call 801-225-4637 to get a quote for your fleet or individual truck. Mountain Land Truck.
When you pay with the Nitro card at Maverick, you always save 10 cents or more on fuel every gallon, every day. And you could save a whole lot more thanks to Nitro Best Price. Pick up a Nitro card and upgrade your Adventure Club account today.
13:28 left in the second period. I'm Tyson Whiting hanging out with Scott Bradford as the Grizzlies will have an offensive zone draw. Defense, defense, defense. That seems to be the name of the game here.
It is, and I don't mind that type of hockey. Fans will go through these lulls, but I think they're getting up, down. Hey, we'll get a chance. I want to thank our crew on the back end here. Now we got a whistle. Julian Means is our director for the video and audio mixing. Jeremiah Hobbs is on camera. Gabriel Messick on camera. And Kate Foster is our replay guy. And my daughter married a young man named Kate Foster, and so I was giving him a hard time about that.
But it's not the same guy?
No. Actually, my son-in-law is a pretty good guy. I have to admit my daughter did well. But
so two different Kate Fosters.
I've never met another Kate Foster in my life until this young man started doing some fill-in replay for us. So
I don't know a single Kate Foster, so I might have to meet Kate Foster and make it one Kate Foster that I've met. Maybe I can meet the second one as well.
Well, you made the point that Caleb's name was a K. Kate spells it with a K.
That's right. I thought he was from Utah when I saw that spell. Shot from the left side's blocked, and it looked like a Grizzly. I got hurt with that one. That can't tell the numbers. That's Hanson Bucata. Oh, he's limping badly, but he's going to stay in there. As he blocked that shot, that got him pretty good on one of the knees.
Yeah. So let's see if he gets off. That's going to be an icing. No, he's not going to get off.
He's not able to get off after the icing, so he's going to have to stay out there. Although he's going to come off, or he's going to try to come off, but
they allowed it. It may have ruled, because that was a clear injury, they may have ruled that they could make that change.
Yeah, it looks like he's able to come off. The new trainer this season, the athletic trainer, is Brooke Timoney, who I believe worked with the Spud Kings, and I think she actually was working with the Birmingham Barons in the Chicago White Sox organization this past year.
Yeah, so I know, have met Brooke before. And
Idaho wins the draw. Right side, Horvath with a lefty shot. It goes wide, bounced off a body, hits the glass. McKay makes a save. Some pushing and shoving after the whistle, and with that, the fans get excited.
They
About the most noise they've made all night.
It is, and they. I don't know if I told this story last year, but I grew up in Kansas City, and of course, they had a short stint with the NHL team with the Scouts, but every year the Blackhawks and Blues will play a preseason game there, and of course the fans are split. Not only was there action on the ice, there was some pretty good action in the stands.
Well, especially if we get to the third period and a few people have had some beverages.
Yeah, the beverages were flowing, I can tell you that.
I always wonder if Kansas City is going to get an NHL team. They've got the arena all ready to go.
They do. Of course, the Mavericks.
Off the draw, shot goes wide. That was Eric Parker who missed the net glove side on McKay. As Idaho's in the offensive zone, back towards Pearson. His righty shot's blocked. Grizzlies come back the other way. Felton, rink-wide feed, goes tape to Friesen. He'll lay it for Boyko. Take a righty shot, and that's blocked by Horvath. As the Steelheads come back the other way. Pearson's looked strong tonight. He enters from the right wing. Toe drag, and it's sniped away by Doug Scott. And Scott delivers a big-time hit.
A big one.
Holmes tries to get around a Grizzly. Fires towards the net. Saved by McKay. A lot of traffic in front of the crease. The puck slides towards the far corner, which is on the right side of the way they're looking at it. Boy, close call there, but the Grizzlies keep it scoreless. Idaho will lift it in. Genev runs it down. He's got great speed. Loses the puck as Felton hit himself along the boards. Felton's second-year pro, played with Abbotsford and Kalamazoo last season. Grizzlies over towards the far corner as they skate from left to right here in the period. Friesen delivers a hit. Felton as well. Doug Scott surveying. Idaho comes out of the pile with the puck as they get it up top. Now back towards the left side as on the corner. Back up top. Boltman moves to the right side. Righty shot goes wide as they tried to go over McKay's right shoulder. Idaho runs it down deep in their own zone. His pass is picked off as the Grizzlies were there, but they have to wait for Voigt to tag up. He does. Shea enters from the left side. He rolls it along the boards. Right point, Gansky fires towards the net. Saved by Halaz, and he holds on.
Boy, Halaz did a great job with traffic right there. I don't think it was tipped, but Shea was right in the midst of that, and very easily it could have been. You made mention about Kansas City. The Mavericks, of course, had a really good season last year there for them, and they play in that smaller arena out on the east side of Independence. And, they've got a small core of good hockey base, but they've never had it really work. And I just don't know if they're going to get an NHL team.
Then again, 5 years ago, I wasn't ever sure Utah would get a team.
Well, that's true.
Sometimes it takes that ambitious multi-billionaire that wants to make it work.
And I can see a very similar situation happening with another team just wanting to relocate to give it one more chance. But you never know.
They've talked about expansion, although it's tough to kind of see a league going from 32 to 34, 36 teams. That seems like it kind of oversaturate things a little bit, as there's only so many great players to go around. Grizzlies have it left side. Shot is blocked by Punnett. Grizzlies in the offensive zone. Voigt gets it to Shea. He'll take a lefty shot. That's blocked. Everybody looking again. Manning shoots. He scores! Steelheads couldn't find it. Manning 5 feet in front of the crease gets it. And look, Manning gives Utah a 1-0 lead.
Well, we talked about it earlier, how well this line is playing. And then I think I mentioned that looking for something to happen. And there it was as he got the puck on the rebound. And there was no doubt about it.
Well, it was just a shot from Shea. There's a lot of bodies. Now it looked like 3 Steelheads were looking around. They were standing in the slot. They couldn't find the puck. Manning found it before anybody else did. He was able to put it in the back of the net.
Yeah, the longer that puck sits in the crease area, the worse it is for the defensive team.
Manning had 18 goals and 21 assists last season. As he gets Utah's 3rd goal overall of the preseason, Utah leads 1-0. Turnover. Berg tried to run after the puck 10 feet in front of the crease. As he gets it taken away, as getting there first was Aiden Reshik. As Idaho back deep in their own zone. Grizzlies really putting a ton of pressure. Berg tried to light up Punnett, and all Berg got was glass and boards.
It sounded a lot worse than it was.
Well, Bird kept moving along, so must not have gotten him too much. Right, for the Grizzlies, they scored twice last night, and Idaho responded within a minute and a half with goals. And so for the Grizzlies, it's interesting to see just how much spirit they have brought the shift after a goal. That might have been something they talked about this morning. It always seems like a very important part of a hockey game is what happens the first couple shifts after a goal gets scored.
Yeah, how you respond.
Do you keep the momentum, or does the other team come back with a good couple shifts and get momentum back?
Right.
It's actually a new goaltender for Idaho, as Benny Halaz, I think, was replaced. And Colby Muse, M-U-I-S-C, is now in net for Idaho. And I think Muse just ended up joining just after the last couple whistles. It might be something to where they were having one goalie play the first half of the game, and Muse is now playing the second half. So it's Colby Muse who's in net for the Idaho Steelheads now. Dryden McKay is still in net for the Grizzlies. Draw in the Grizzlies zones, won by Utah. Ricketts gets tripped up. No call on the play. Looks like we're working with one referee and two linesmen tonight. As puck back towards the right side as Idaho's in the offensive zone. As Christian Felton knocks down a Steelhead. As Chris Hall's acting as the PA announcer tonight. I know Chris. We were together with the Idaho Falls Chuckers as the Grizzlies roll one on to Muse, who makes a save with 9:14 left in the second.
Yeah, and Chris hates doing this, by the way, but
multi-talented.
We have a gentleman, Javier, who's normally our announcer. He's very good. But
I know Javier. He was with the Chuckers when I was there in 2018.
Yeah, he was. In fact, when you were there in 2018, I was working for the Chuckers, a school teacher. So in the summers, I'd work out there and do, whatever they wanted. I was even Charlie the Chucker. I was the only mascot who qualified for AARP. Okay, so I was 56 at the time. Last time I've done Charlie the Chucker. So
I like Charlie the Chucker. As the long range pass Steelheads are offside. 9:06 left in the second.
Well, there's.
Yeah, Steelheads pointing towards the line and saying, "I was here, pal. I was on side."
I wish we had. This is when I wish we had the replay because that did look very close. But hey, the linesman was right there and made the call.
Seems like when in doubt, they're going to call offside. Whether it is, when it's close, it seems like they're going to give the benefit of blowing the whistle.
Yeah, and for those of you listening or watching who have never officiated at any high level, it is difficult.
It's very difficult.
I've done high school baseball and softball, and, everybody hates the ref or the umpire, but it is a difficult job.
And because it's difficult, I never ended up doing it because difficult things in me don't necessarily go along.
I don't know. You're very good at broadcasting, and some people would find that very difficult. So
Jalot gets belted by Horvath. Jalot, the Holy Cross product, first-year pro, and still move one out. Starting pass out in front, shot by Friesen. That one's blocked away by Muse.
Boy, Friesen, great opportunity there. It looked like it got Muse's shoulder.
Idaho up ahead. Long-range feed is knifed away by Luke Salem. Grizzlies have been on point defensively. The lone goal was scored about a minute ago from Luke Manning as Neil Shea will get an assist on the play, but don't know who got the other assist. Might be Ty Voigt. Left wing shot. That one's blocked away by Muse. That was taken by Neil Shea, who had some great moments last season. Idaho ices the puck. Kind of remember back-to-back Saturdays, February 1st against the Steelheads on Guns N' Hoses night, February 8th in Tulsa, where Neil Shea scored overtime game winners.
Oh, back-to-back.
And the one in Tulsa, he did it like 8 seconds into overtime. Like he won the faceoff, got around the defense, and then scored.
Well, it might as well get the overtime done early, right?
That's right. He was ready to go back to the hotel. Draw one by the Grizzlies. And then on February 15th, the Grizzlies won a third overtime game. Derek Daschke had the game winner over to Voigt. Voigt trying to throw it to the middle of the ice for Manning. It was overled for him as Pearson was in the area. In fact, the Grizzlies won an award for that fishing night. It was Specialty Jersey of the Year as the Grizzlies hooked the Steelheads 6-5. Derek Daschke had the overtime game winner. And, of course, the old saying, to err is human. I think I said during my monologue in the first segment last night that it was Neil Shea that got the overtime game winner. Why not? Shea scored just about every other goal for the Grizzlies.
I think people will forgive you. That's my theory.
I might have been the only one that noticed. Daschke's family might have if they were tuned in.
Well, yeah.
Baum takes a shot from the left side. It's deflected out of play. 7:26 left in the second.
Yeah, family doesn't forget those kind of things. They pick those things off.
They pick up everything.
Oh, yeah. So, yeah, Colby Muse, looks like he was with Peoria last year, had a pretty good save percentage and goals against average.
Also spent some time with Adirondack, 27 years old.
I kind of wonder how they, with the goalie changes and maybe getting some guys some experience, because last night the goaltenders played all 3 periods.
Yep.
So
and for the Grizzlies, I think they only have 2 on the roster and 2 that traveled. Steelheads with 3. I think they want one guy to play half the game, and then Muse came in. I think he just kind of snuck on the ice, stretched it out after right before the Manning goal, or maybe he was even after the Manning goal. Check the stat sheet. As Muse just it wasn't like he was announced. He just kind of entered, and all of a sudden there was Muse. Idaho over the line, right side, as they'll bounce one to the corner. Adam Berg delivers another hit, that one on Steinmetz. So Berg's played a physical brand of hockey tonight. And Berg's had a pretty good training camp as well. He looks like he's going to have a big campaign. Came to camp in great shape. Idaho to the right side, hit delivered by a Grizzly. That wasn't Berg this time. I think that might have been Lebster. That wasn't. Starting pass by Walker, shot by McKay. As puck ends up behind McKay. McKay lost his stick. He picks it back up.
Great reaction by McKay there. That was point blank.
Genev gets around 2 guys. Now Punna gets the puck. He'll race towards the left point. Stops, and he gets it across to Reshuk. Reshuk to the right side. They try to get to Walker down the middle of the ice. He glanced off his skate. Now Reshuk with a shot. He scores. Aiden Reshuk, H-R-E-S-C-H-U-K. And he spells where we tied the game. 6:25 left in the second.
Well, that shot coming from near the blue line, you could see from our angle, which is a corner. We're in the corner here of the arena, and looking down, you could see all the traffic in front.
I'm not sure McKay really had much of a vision on it. There's about 5 bodies in front
I don't put that on the goaltender at all, because it's difficult to look through everything. They did play the replay here on the screen in the arena, but yeah, he didn't have much vision on that, and don't put that on the goaltender.
Aiden Reshuk with the goal, and really a lot of goals get scored with goaltenders, not having a tough time seeing through things. You see deflections, and even ones that just get through, they can't see the puck. They're going to have a tough time stopping it.
Right. That's where reaction time is so critical, because you have just a fraction of a second, when it's hidden, and then all of a sudden you pick the puck up.
Grizzlies enter the offensive zone. Riley Connors dangles back and forth. He gets tripped up, wants to call and then to be had. Puck goes to Griffin Ness, who will sweep it to the right point along the wall for ends and fires towards the net, and it's deflected by a couple sticks. As Horvath was in the area battling with Connors, it goes out of play, and the draw's going to stay in the Steelhead zone after a timeout. 5:53 left in the second period. It's the Grizzlies 1 and the Steelheads 1. We're back in 1 minute on the Grizzlies Hockey Network.
Since 1939, America First has helped people start businesses, buy homes and cars, and achieve their financial goals. Today, our top priority is still the financial success of you and your family, which is why we're giving new members $100 when they sign up for a basic savings and checking account, and another $100 when they upgrade to premium checking and enroll in and use direct deposit. So head to americafirst.com today and join the credit union that always puts its members first.
Right now at Les Schwab Tires, it's the best for less sales event. Save up to $120 instantly on a set of 4 tires. Choose from a wide selection of our longest lasting, best performing tires, and every tire is covered by America's best tire warranty. With a 60-day satisfaction guarantee, no hassle road hazard protection, and free maintenance for the life of your tires. It's our best deal on our best tires with the best service in the business. Get more from less.
Welcome back to Utah Grizzlies hockey. We're tied at 1. Luke Manning scored 9:32 into the second period, and that was right after Muse came in as Idaho's goaltender Neil Shea with the lone assist. Idaho tied it up 13:35 in. Aiden Reshuk with the goal, with C.J. Walker picking up the assist time, and that goal 13:35 in.
During the Spud King broadcast, general manager Eric Hudson comes up second period, and of course he played goaltender at a pretty high level. And I've really gotten an appreciation of goaltender play from, just the back and forth and the way he describes things. It's been extremely educational.
I've been hanging out with Tim Broussard for many years, and he's a former goalie himself. I think he actually is still a goalie, playing every now and then, as Connors falls down, and the Steelheads cleared out to center ice. Running it down is Noah Gansky, the big 6'7" forward, who I believe is going to become a fan favorite for the Grizzlies. He was a fan favorite in Fort Wayne, and some of the comments that Fort Wayne fans had, they were disappointed to see him go, as he was acquired in a trade for Grant Gabriel. Ooh, big-time hit as Horvath tried to light up Salem. I think Horvath got more glass and boards than he did Salem. Connors shields Idaho away from the puck. He tried to get to Ricketts. Idaho pokes it away. Does Horvath As the Steelheads will bounce one off Agansky. Now the puck bounces at center ice. Salem has his pass picked off as Idaho enters the zone. They get around him as Mason Nevers around the net stops. He wears number 21. Now Nevers skates towards the far side. He'll drop it off. Idaho skating from right to left here in the second period. As the puck goes up top, Boltman will dance towards the right point. He'll take a righty shot. Saved by McKay. Puck goes behind him, and a goal scored by the Steelheads.
On the rebound there off the backboards. It'd be interesting to see the replay here if they played on the arena screen, because that came off the backboards. And
it is the Steelheads goal as the referee pointed to the goal line. And that was just a crazy play as Nevers skates to the bench first, so he believes he's the one that scored. And once again, there was a ton of traffic in front. McCabe was looking for it. Puck ended up behind him. He didn't know where it was, and the referee spotted it and said it was a good goal. And it looks like they're going to go to video replay. Yeah, it's going to be reviewed. Yeah, so they're going to check this out.
This is when I kind of wish we had the in press box system tonight, which we don't have.
Dylan Sater is the referee. The linesmen are Andrew Collins and Tyler Keston. So Dylan Sater is going to the tablet, and he's going to see if it's a good goal or not. 4:51 left in the second period. Sater was right there. He was in the perfect position to make the call. And really, there's only so many things in this league that can be reviewed. Grizzlies fans know all too well that puck that was played with a high stick is not reviewable. Idaho won an overtime playoff game in 2013 on one of those.
He was very emphatic in the call.
Yeah.
I mean, right away.
A lot of confidence. He had believed that puck crossed the goal line. And that's really one of the only things that's reviewable in this league is whether the puck crossed the goal line.
Well, in fact, that's a sign of a good official. You know, when you make the call, you make it because you're sure that's the call the way you saw it.
Nevers was kind of diving towards the net with Jack Ricketts. Nevers looking for some loose change. Ricketts was nearby. Nevers went down as Ricketts has got a piece of him. And then the referee, who was right there, signaled that the puck crossed the goal line.
I think that went off the back of his leg or something.
They say a good goal. It's 2-1 Steelheads.
Well, we made mention about the split in probably the crowd here. Boy, the crowd really erupted on that on that goal. Again,
well, it just it kind of points to the two people in section 117 about row 5. Looks like either a girlfriend and boyfriend or husband and wife. One's got a Steelheads jersey, one's got a Grizzlies jersey. That kind of points out exactly. What we've got here tonight. Idaho in the offensive zone as Nevers is credited with the goal. Nevers last year played at University of Minnesota, so he was with the major college program playing for the Gophers. Ended last year with some time with the Steelheads. As Grizzlies skate along the near side, try to get to center ice. Puck is poked away from the Steelhead. There's a foot race. Grizzlies' John Jalot racing after it. Muse throws it between the legs of Boltman, who moves it ahead. Idaho enters 2-on-3. Grizzlies did a good job getting back defensively. Pearson in the area. He couldn't find it. Grizzlies will move it ahead as they try to get to Friesen. It goes past him. Friesen racing after it. The Grizzlies are called for icing with 4:04 left in the second.
Well, things have really picked up here in the second period from an offensive perspective. And
looks like they've given assists to Brendan Hoffman and Jake Boltman on the Nevers goal that was scored 15:09 in. So draw's going to be over on the right side. And it's won by Utah in their own zone. Salem falls down and no call to be made. We haven't had a single power play in the second period. And with that, the game's had a pretty decent flow to it.
It has.
I think both teams, though, would like to work on the power play and penalty kill a little bit, though.
And it's really been physical, but it's been clean physical.
Yeah. Puck towards the middle of the ice in the Grizzlies zone. Connor Punnett, lefty shot saved by McKay. Everybody hacking away, but McKay's got it covered up.
Yeah, good job by McKay to smother that one. There was a lot of sticks hacking at that puck. At least two different Steelheads had an opportunity at it.
So it's going to be an offensive zone draw for the Steelheads. Dryden McKay, certainly a fun story when you talk about what he did at the college level. He holds the NCAA wins record all time with 113. The next closest goalie in NCAA history has 89. So not only does he have the wins record, he's got the wins record by 24 over the next highest goaltender.
That's amazing.
Played with the Newfoundland Growlers for 2 years. He was a teammate with Neil Shea during the Growlers' final season of existence. And last year, played mostly with Greenville, also was with Bloomington, and spent a little bit of time with Ontario in the AHL. Felton tries to enter the zone. Manning was there before, offside of the Grizzlies with 3:27 left in the second.
I didn't have down where he played his collegiate hockey. You've got a lot of notes there.
We got a lot of pieces of paper. He played at Minnesota State Mankato.
Okay. That's a decent
for 4
program.
seasons.
Yeah.
Seen quite a few players from that program come by. Holds the NCAA career record with 34 shutouts, 3 seasons with exactly 10 shutouts.
That's amazing.
If you're a forward on that team, you just know you get 1 goal, it might hold up.
It might hold up.
A lot of 1-0 games there that they played. Puck goes flying at about row 10 out of play. Somebody's going to come home with the frozen vulcanized rubber disc.
There he is. Looks like he's got an Oilers sweater on.
Yeah, it does look like he's got an Edmonton Oilers jersey. Looks like Connor McDavid's, number 97.
Well, figure that, huh?
You know, with the Oilers, it's either McDavid or Draisaitl, or maybe you go with the throwback where there's many great options.
Well, of course, I'm old enough where there's a lot of throwbacks, but
I've got a lot of jerseys there I've had for long enough that they've turned into throwbacks. They weren't throwbacks at the time. By the year 2050, all my Utah Hockey Club and Utah Mammoth jerseys, they're going to become throwbacks at some point. Puck goes around the boards as Messner gets hit, punt it over the line, walks towards the left side. Now he pivots, throws it to the middle of the ice. Grizzlies get it as it looked like Hoffman just couldn't reach it. Grizzlies, Adam Berg into the offensive zone as he gets spun around. Lepster trying to get it back to Berg. Taken away by Reshik, and the puck ends up towards Muse, who covers up with 2:55 left in the second.
Yeah, good job by Lepster there to keep with it along the boards and get that puck to the corner of the net. Just couldn't do anything with it.
A lot of times you get a situation where all you do, just find a way to attack the net and create some traffic, and good things will happen. Connors is out there with Ricketts and Ness. It's just about an entirely new defensive unit for the Grizzlies, but they've got so many returning forwards. I think 8 of them are in the lineup tonight. Dylan Fitz is out as he's watching from section 117. Grizzlies have it with Griffin Ness as Parker challenges him. Parker sweeps it towards the far wing wall. Grizzlies skate from left to right here in the period. Malmquist will lift it out to center ice. Puck bounces at the center ice logo, which is an Idaho Falls Spud Kings logo. As Ricketts steps over the line, getting double teamed. Parker takes the puck away from him. Connors delivers it as he tries to fire towards the net, and it's blocked by Malmquist. Rink-wide feed connects as Pearson skates in. He'll take a righty shot. Saved by McKay as Pearson did a really good job shielding the Grizzly defenseman from the puck and was able to get a good chance.
Yeah, that was good all the way around there.
Grizzlies out to center ice as Ricketts gets a rough ride. Tries to split a double team, throws it to the corner, gets his own pass, gets to Connors behind the net. Now to the middle of the ice, back to Felton high slot. Felton gets to Scott just outside the right circle. He looked for a shot, didn't get much on it as Horvath collects it. They'll throw it to Parker behind the net. The Steelheads spread the ice. Less than 2 minutes left in the second period. Idaho leads 2-1.
Yeah, Connors and Parker were really going at it in front of the net that time.
Connors did that a lot with the Grizzlies towards the end of last season as he got in front of the net, and he really played a strong physical two-way brand of hockey. And I think the Grizzlies are hoping for a little bit more of the same this season. Well, in his first full year as a pro.
Yeah, I've tried to been watching that, but that's the first time I really noticed, an extended period of time where they really got a lot of contact. And
Boyko with the puck on the right side as he's in the offensive zone as Horvath will brush it towards the near wing wall. Holmes will clear it out to center ice. Grizzlies reset. Boyko will push it back to Friesen, who couldn't reach it. Friesen gets it off the boards and he whips it around the wall. Chase stops in the right corner. He's an outstanding skater. He gets up top. Enzi fires a righty shot that goes wide. Boyko dances around as he collides with number 20, Nick Ports, who played at St. Cloud State. Now to the middle of the ice. Grizzlies have it. Manning gets to Enz, who's in the right circle. Righty shot goes wide. Oh, it looked like he was looking for a redirection from Manning or Boyko, who was out in front of the crease. Manning with the puck. he gets knocked down, Steelheads clear it out to center ice.
Yeah, Boyko had a really good position that time right in front of the net.
Ends, moves it ahead as Voigt gets spun around by Horvath. Action near the Grizzlies bench, which is on the near side. Grizzlies wearing white helmets, white jersey, black numbers, professional green trim, very similar to what they wore last season. Manning with the puck skates in, centering pass on Shea, just didn't get much on as he was trying to scoop it and just didn't get a whole lot on it.
Yeah, Shea had a rolling puck that time, and he couldn't get his full stick there.
Manning shot, and it's blocked before it gets to Muse. Shea now battles, wins a 50-50 puck, gets towards Manning, but Manning didn't have enough room to get a shot off. Now at the buzzer, Manning fires to the net. Muse makes a save. And that will do it for 40 minutes here at Mountain America Center, as the Grizzlies scored once with Luke Manning halfway through the period, but Idaho scored 2 goals. And shots are pretty even. Idaho with 20 shots, Grizzlies with 19. And it looks like both teams continued to play pretty good defensive hockey, but both teams in the second period looked like they did a good job getting traffic out in front of the net.
Yeah, we noticed it a couple times. There were some good battles, and of course, one of those goals was clearly on a screen. I mean, it was the goaltender, McKay, had very little chance on that. But, yeah, the hittings continued. The defense is still pretty good, but at least the offenses have been able, through some deflections and through some screens, been able to pick things up here.
One of the things is Dylan Wells having a lighter moment with Chris Bestel, the Beast, the equipment manager, who's been around, I think, as long as the Steelheads franchise has been around. Now Chris Bestel talking with DJ McFarland, the redheaded new equipment manager of the Grizzlies. And I actually saw an interesting moment where the assistant equipment manager put something on a loading dock onto the Penske truck so cleanly. And he said, to make sure to mention it. So I made sure to mention it.
All those people in the background, they don't get enough, kudos for the hard work that they do in prepping for the game.
And they're probably the hardest working people in the building. Athletic trainer, equipment manager, especially the equipment manager with all the gear.
Yeah, most definitely.
Idaho leads Utah 2-1. Anything else stand out to you about the first 2 periods of play?
No, I tell you what, the fans here are getting a treat, of professional hockey here in Idaho Falls. And again, you mentioned that first period is so dominant with the defenses, even though, especially on the 4-on-4, each team had a couple chances here. But I think I look for more in this third period, more of that physicality right in front of the goal, because I think the key is put some pucks on the net and let's get a rebound or your screen or something like that. I think that'll be key.
One of the things to watch out for, unfortunately, after Aiden Hansen-Bukata blocked a shot, I'm not sure I saw him out there. With this being a preseason game, I doubt we'll see him in the third period. But after he blocked that shot and went to the bench, I'm not sure we saw him after that.
Yeah, well, you mentioned a little bit earlier, too, with the Manning, Shea, and Bukata line.
Yep.
Have just been very dominant for Utah. And so, I look for that to continue, and let's see if they can pick it up and get a goal here in the third period.
We'll come back and go over some stats from the first 2 periods, and we'll also go over some ECHL and NHL scores. After 2 periods, Idaho leads Utah 2-1. This is the Grizzlies Hockey Network.
Commercial to recreational truck accessories, Mountain Land Truck Outfitters has got what you need. Flatbeds, spray and bed liners, lifts and leveling kits, wheels and tires. Mountain Land Truck Outfitters proudly uses a brand you know and trust. And with our experienced, knowledgeable, and friendly staff, your visit here will be informative and enjoyable. Stop into our convenient location in Provo at 265 South 100 West or call 801-225-4637 to get a quote for your fleet or individual truck.
Les Schwab changed the tire game more than 70 years ago. Today, we still believe you should get more from less. Like more hustle, less hassle. More of the best service around, less of the runaround. Because we include America's best tire warranty in every tire we sell. So you get more unbeatable warranty less charging you extra. It's why we're more than proud to say you get more from less.
Maverick's new bean-to-cup machines always deliver a freshly ground cup of coffee on demand, so you can enjoy any of our premium roasts at their best, day or night, hot or iced. Enjoy a fresh cup today.
After 2 periods, the Utah Grizzlies trail the Idaho Steelheads 2-1, and this is the preseason finale. Don't forget the Grizzlies are just 6 days away from the regular season opener as they take on Keaton Mastrodonato and the Greenville Swamp Rabbits. There'll be a reunion for Dryden McKay as he spent last season with the Swamp Rabbits. Their AHL affiliate is Ontario. He played in a game or two with Ontario last season as well. In this game, nobody scored in the first period. Idaho, actually it was the Grizzlies that scored first, 9:32 into the second period as Luke Manning got his first with Neil Shea getting the assist. It was an interesting play. Voigt was battling along the end boards. Puck ended up going to Shea. Shea fired a shot. It got redirected, flipped into the air a little bit. 3 Steelheads had absolutely no clue where it was, and the goaltender couldn't see it either. Manning spotted the puck, got to it, and fired it past the goal line. Manning had 18 goals for the Grizzlies last year, and he was a monster in the last 11 games of the regular season. And it looks like he's off to a pretty good start this year. Manning, Shea, and Ty Voigt are a very speedy shift. And as Scott Bradford had mentioned during the second period, that was probably Utah's best forward line through the first 2 periods. And so Luke Manning gets the goal, 9:32 into the second period. And the Grizzlies really did a good job over the next couple minutes in making sure that they kept the momentum. You know, we saw it twice last night where the Grizzlies scored a goal, Messner in the first period and then Friesen in the third period, where they scored, and then Idaho quickly responded within a minute and a half with a goal of their own. Idaho eventually tied it up as Aiden Reshik scored 13:35 in with C.J. Walker getting the assist. Reshik was in the high slot, just fired with about 5 bodies out in front of the net. It looked like Dryden McKay just wasn't quite sure where the puck was, and that's just one of those that had eyes, and Reshik was able to helicopter it in the back of the net, and that tied it up 13:35 in. And then the Steelheads, a minute and a half later, took the lead as Boltman and Hoffman get the assist. Puck ended up with a lot of traffic out in front, and Nevers spotted the puck. It looked like it went behind McKay, and then Nevers kind of did a drive-by towards the net. He collided with Ricketts, fell down, and Nevers gets credited with the goal. They looked it over on video replay, did referee Dylan Sater, but they said it was a good goal. Sater was in the right position to make the call in the first place, and so Nevers gets his second of the preseason, and Idaho leads 2-1, and that's where we sit now. Idaho's outshot Utah 20-19. Steelheads had 13 shots in the first period, 7 in the second. Grizzlies with 10 shots in the first, 9 in the second period. It's the Grizzlies with a slight edge in the shot count in the second period. Interestingly enough, we haven't had many power plays. Horvath and Lepster each got matching minors. Horvath got a rough, and Lepster got a cross-check, 7:51 into the first. Neil Shea got a hooking minor, 9:31 into the first. So Idaho's 0 for 1 in the power play, and the Grizzlies have yet to get a power play. And that comes off of last night's game where Utah was 0 for 2. But you got to credit both teams. They played pretty disciplined through 2 periods, and so there haven't been a whole lot of plays where you think, okay, a penalty could be called there, and they just let it go. Now both teams have played a pretty clean game so far, and so that's why we haven't seen any power plays. Idaho with 1 power play. That came in the first period. Utah still hasn't had a power play. Remember, the Grizzlies didn't get a power play last night until the middle of the third period. So we'll see if Utah gets some power play chances, but that remains to be seen. Idaho leads Utah 2-1. The other action in the league has gone final. Allen defeats Tulsa 5-0 as Allen goes 2-0 in the preseason. Kalamazoo defeats Toledo 5-3 in a losing effort. Former Grizzly Chad Hillebrand had 2 second-period goals for the Walleye, who are normally title contenders. But tonight it's Kalamazoo with the win. Late third period, Greenville leads Wheeling 2-0. Modry and another guy have goals for the Swamp Rabbits. Remember, that's going to be the Grizzlies' opponent 6 days from now. This game, incidentally enough, is played in Johnstown, Pennsylvania at First Summit Arena, even though it looks like Greenville's listed as the home team. In Glen Falls, New York, Adirondack shuts out Trois Rivières 3-0. Maine gets a 3-2 win over the Worcester Railers. Mike Fulta's hometown of Fishers, Indiana, hosted a preseason game. Indy defeats Bloomington 2-1. And Savannah gets a 5-1 victory over the Greensboro Gargoyles. Greensboro's new trainer is Colin Lee, who is the athletic trainer for the Grizzlies for the past 5 seasons. Fans pretty much staying in their seats. Not many people going to the concession stands here as the Zambonis are on the ice. Let's go over some NHL scores. We got some interesting ones of local interest. Currently in overtime, Utah and Nashville are tied at 2. As Utah had scored first, Logan Cooley, 2:21 in. Got a goal with Gunther and Paterka getting the assist. That's J.J. Paterka's first point as a Mammoth skater. Forsberg and Holla scored for Nashville. And 11:37 into the third period, Jack McBain got his first of the year with Nick Schmaltz and Sean Dursey getting the assist. They are currently in overtime, tied at 2. Shots have been pretty close to even. Nashville with 23 shots. Utah has 22. After 2 periods, the Grizzlies NHL affiliate, the Colorado Avalanche, trailed Dallas 3-2. Martin Nietzsche and Gavin Brindley have the goals for the Avalanche. So that one looks to be a fun one as Dallas leads Colorado 3-2. As getting the start in net for the Avalanche is Scott Wedgwood. He has saved 8 of 11. The backup goaltender for the Avalanche tonight is former Grizzly Trent Miner. So that's an interesting one. After 2 periods, Dallas leads Colorado 3-2. Another action in the National Hockey League. Late third period, Blue Jackets lead the Wild 7-4. After 1 period, no score between Vancouver and Edmonton. Also after 1 period, the Ducks and Sharks are tied at 2. And also after 1 period, no score between the Golden Knights and Kraken. Finals in the National Hockey League, Jets defeat the Kings 3-2. Blues get a 4-2 victory over the Flames. Bruins get a 3-1 victory over the Sabres. Bruins off to a good start. Red Wings 6, Maple Leafs 3, as Detroit's looking to make the postseason for the first time in a while. Devils defeat the Lightning 5-3. Panthers get a 6-2 win over Ottawa. Capitals defeat the Islanders 4-2. No goals for Alex Ovechkin, but he did have 1 assist. In the Mike Sullivan special, the Rangers defeat the Penguins 6-1. Sullivan, the former longtime Pittsburgh Penguins head coach, is now behind the bench of the New York Rangers. In overtime, the Hurricanes get a 4-3 victory over the Flyers. The overtime game winner was scored by Seth Jarvis, 4:43 into the extra session. And Montreal gets a 3-2 win over the Blackhawks. The game-winning goal was scored by Caden Gould, and that was 19:45 into the third period. So that's the NHL scores. We went over the league scores that the Grizzlies are currently playing in. Grizzlies and Steelheads have the third period start in about 6.5 minutes or so. And for the Grizzlies, it's great to see Luke Manning get back on the scoring sheet, as Manning was one of Utah's best players over the final month of the regular season. You know, you think about what he did. He scored 2 goals in the regular season finale against Rapid City. In the last 18 games of the year, Manning led Utah with 18 points, 11 goals, 7 assists. So last 18 games scored 18 points, and 11 of those were goals. So he really picked up the scoring slack late in the season. He had 11 points in his last 8 games, 7 goals, and 4 assists. And he is back for the Grizzlies for his second full season as a pro. Last year, in 67 games, he had 18 goals and 21 assists. Now, one of the scratches for the Grizzlies this preseason is Rylan Kovacevic, who's currently on an AHL contract with the Colorado Eagles. He has missed each of the 2 preseason games, but he's going to be a fun one for Grizzlies fans. As we mentioned, a first-year pro who played last year in the WHL, started the season with Moose Jaw, where he had 21 goals in 33 games, and then spent some time with Prince Albert, the Raiders, in the WHL, where he had 5 goals and 14 assists in 27 games. He was a clutch performer for Prince Albert in the 2025 WHL playoffs, where he had 6 goals, 4 assists. So Kovacevic's out of the lineup. So is Dylan Fitz. Tyler Gratton was strong last night, and we might see him on that top line with Lebster and Messner, as they were the top forward line last night. Adam Berg has taken Gratton's spot. And one of the things about Tyler Gratton, he's listed at 6'2", but he might even be bigger and stronger than that, as I think they've got him listed at about 190 pounds. He might be close to 200 pounds. He's a very strong player. And look for him to get out in front of the net on that particular line with Lubster and Messner. And if they do switch things up, I imagine whatever line Gratton is on, that he's going to be that body in front of the net. And that's something that we're looking for here in the preseason. We saw Riley Connors on occasion in the second period get out in front of the net. We've seen some other Grizzlies do so as well, because after all, if you're looking about how the goals have been scored tonight, Grizzlies scored with some traffic in front of the net as a loose puck was located by Manning, and then both of the Idaho goals, it created a lot of traffic in front. You know, the first Idaho goal looked like McKay didn't see it on the shot from the high slot that was taken by Reshik, and then that other goal, there was a lot of traffic, and Nevers was able to spot it, and in both of those cases, Dryden McKay probably didn't have great vision of the puck. And so, especially at this level, with as skilled as both goaltenders are, you're probably going to see situations to where if you want to win games, you're going to have to find a way to get traffic in front of the net consistently. Grizzlies at times have done that over the first 5 periods here in the preseason. We'll see if they'll do that here in the third. When we come back, we'll be joined by Scott Bradford, and we'll have third period action as the Grizzlies are looking for a comeback bid. Idaho leads 2-1. This is the Utah Grizzlies Hockey Network.
Since 1939, America First has helped people start businesses, buy homes and cars, and achieve their financial goals. Today, our top priority is still the financial success of you and your family, which is why we're giving new members $100 when they sign up for a basic savings and checking account, and another $100 when they upgrade to premium checking and enroll in and use direct deposit. So head to americafirst.com today and join the credit union that always puts its members first.
Right now at Les Schwab Tires, it's the best for less sales event. Save up to $120 instantly on a set of 4 tires. Choose from a wide selection of our longest lasting, best performing tires, and every tire is covered by America's best tire warranty. With a 60-day satisfaction guarantee, no hassle road hazard protection, and free maintenance for the life of your tires. It's our best deal on our best tires with the best service in the business. Get more from less.
Welcome back to Utah Grizzlies hockey. Third period action will begin in a couple minutes as the officials are on the ice. Dylan Sater's the referee. Andrew Collins and Tyler Keston are the linesmen. As the Idaho Steelheads Brain Trust returning to the bench. Everett Sheen's back for another year as Steelheads head coach. Keenan Kelly, the Boise native, is the assistant. Chris Bestel, the equipment manager, has been there a long time. Now the Grizzlies hit the ice with Dryden McKay leading the way. As I am joined by Scott Bradford here tonight. And Scott, really, it's been a fun first 2 periods here for both sides.
Well, I've enjoyed it very much and enjoyed working with you again, as this hopefully will make this an annual tradition. It's we mentioned a little bit before we left for the intermission that I really think that, getting pucks to the neck and looking for that rebound, you mentioned it just a little bit ago, a lot of the goals tend to have come when just Eric Hudson about ready to almost bit it on the ice there. He's gingerly walking to the bench.
Now, that's why a lot of coaches, they walk along the edges.
I know. I guess he thinks he's tough being the ex-goaltender, but I really think that's key. You're just getting the puck to the net and looking for those rebounds. One of the things I like about Utah is early in the game, if you remember, the Steelheads were getting a man positioned on the weak side post. Unmolested, really, just there. They had a couple golden opportunities, just couldn't do it. They've adjusted to that, I think, but you got to kind of watch that in this third period as they sneak that man, that forward, over by the post, looking for that quick pass to beat the goaltender, McKay.
Idaho seems to like a play where they get the puck to one goal line and they kind of throw that cross-ice pass looking for a one-timer the other side. They scored a power play goal like that in last night's game. That seems to be a staple that the Steelheads seem to run year in and year out.
Right, and if you can control the puck on the boards, that's something that works very well, especially if you bring a guy from the blue line, either way, depending which corner you're at, into that high slot area, then you're going to get an opportunity like that.
Both teams have strong team leaders. Mick Messner is the Grizzlies captain. He's got the C on his sweater. And for Idaho, he's not in the lineup tonight, but Nick Canati replaces A.J. White as the Steelheads captain. White was the Steelheads captain for many years. And Nick Canati will be wearing the C for the Steelheads for the upcoming 2025-26 season. Grizzlies will start the third period with Shea, Manning, and Voigt from left to right. Manning will take the face-off, and Gansky and Salem are the defensive pairing. Brendan Hoffman will start the third period with Caleb Pearson and Liam Malmquist, and defensively Jeff Baum and Jake Boltman. Idaho wins the draw. They skate from left to right here in the third period as the Steelheads will bounce one off of Gansky's knee. We might not see Aiden Hansen-Bukata in the third period. He blocked a shot in the second period. We didn't see him the second half of the second frame. We'll see if we see him out there for the third. Might be one of those things, if it's a regular season game, he might try to gut it out. But battle over in the far corner on the right side as Manning tried to get up top to Gansky. Idaho took it away. Gansky knifes it away from Brendan Hoffman, who Steelheads fans are thrilled to see again. Puck goes into the Steelhead zone, and offsides the call with 19:25 left in the third.
Yeah, great job by Noah there. You like to see that from your defenders, having active sticks, and before the rush even gets going, to make sure you knock that puck away so they don't have that opportunity.
Neutral zone draw, but it's in Grizzlies territory as Mick Messner will take the draw. Messner's an Iron Man. He has appeared in 150 consecutive regular season games. It dates back to when he signed with the club towards the end of the 2022-23 season. Puck goes all the way deep in the Steelhead zone, played by Muse. Colby's his first name, Colby, which I think is the same spelling as the Colby in the office. Centering pass, backhand shot, saved by McKay. As back behind Utah's net, Doug Scott gets dragged down by Nevers. Nevers got the deciding goal late in the second period as Idaho leads 2-1. Scott tried to get to Messner. He might have gotten a piece of it, but he was in Grizzlies territory either way, and icing is on Utah as we played 1 minute and 2 seconds of this third period.
Yeah, tough icing there. They had the pass across ice, just couldn't quite connect. But as far as McKay, good job. They tried to go 5-hole on that, and he with the backhand, and he was able to close that up very quickly.
Manning will take the face-off. He talks with Felton and Berg as they communicate. Messner, one of the better communicators on the Grizzlies. Now Messner talking with Doug Scott. Scott started training camp number 91. He's wearing number 17 for the Grizzlies tonight. Utah's got 8 defensemen on the roster. Scott delivers a push on Chris Tadero along the boards. Grizzlies come up with it as Messner will bounce one towards Berg, and Berg will shovel it in. As Berg gets back to the corner, Reed Lepster dances around. Lepster in his second year with the Grizzlies as he tries to play soccer as he got his stick held up by a Steelhead. The official, Dylan Sater, is going to let them play tonight. He's the lone referee. Some games will see 2 referees, and others will just see 1. Towards the far goal line, lefty shot saved by McKay. Shot was taken by Chris Tadero.
Yeah, I was going to ask you about that because normally they go to the 2 referee setup. And
seems like in the ECHL it's about half and half.
Is it? Okay. It's pretty consistent when the Spud Kings play that they will have dual referees. So wonder if that's just a scheduling thing or
it might be. Yeah. I think that they have some officials that go back and forth from the AHL and ECHL, and there might not be the availability to have 2 for every game. But they're working on getting it for 100% of the games in the ECHL in future years.
Now, my guess is in this part of the country, it's probably a little more difficult to schedule some referees.
It can be. Griffin Ness backhand shot, and that goes high and out of play off the protective netting. All the linesmen are pretty much local. You have like about a group of 5 or 6 linesmen that will kind of rotate, do Grizzlies games. Some of them even go up to Boise and do Steelheads games. You see it in other parts of the country. A lot more teams in the central time zone to where linesmen will just go and drive to those 5 or 6 different spots, and that's how they pick up their linesmen.
Yeah, for those who aren't familiar with the geography of the area, we're actually in Idaho Falls closer to Salt Lake City than we are in the Boise region.
Yeah, I think it took like 4 hours to get from Idaho Falls to Boise, and I think it's if you go the 80 miles an hour and maybe a little bit above that, you might be able to get there in just under 3 hours.
I would agree
Idaho Falls
with you.
To Salt Lake.
Yeah.
Simon Boyko dumps in deep. Muse will roll it along the boards. Action in the Steelhead zone. As now coming up with the puck is Parker. He'll shovel it out to center ice, getting his stick held up, but eventually dumping it in is John Gillott, the 5'11", 195-pound forward out of Middletown, New Jersey. That's where he was born. He played at Holy Cross College. Grizzlies get it to Boyko, and he fans on the centering pass in a one-time attempt. Felton dances around, skates towards the left circle. Felton backhands one out in front into traffic, and it's blocked away before it gets to Muse. Idaho skies it deep into the Grizzlies zone. Pearson, we got a collision, and it looked like Pearson just tried to one-hand tap towards the net as he was running after the puck. He crashed along the boards, and Gansky crashed the net open. Pearson, boy, he hit the boards hard.
I tell you what, I cringed. You probably heard me verbally cringe. That was so awkward, and you hate to see that because that's how if you're under control, you can take a hard hit or in the boards, but when you're in an awkward position, and it's so great to see him skate off there. Of course, we're looking at the Grizzly player there. So we hope everything
back to his feet.
Yeah, we hope everything's all right. You made the comment about the play they scored on the power play. Idaho did last night. That same situation was just for Utah. They had it set up, just didn't quite get the one-timer there.
Yeah, it looked like Boyko had everything there, all sorts of time and space, and just didn't get all of it.
Well, thank goodness both skaters on that are up to the benches. Looked like they're okay, but it was just so awkward looking. And you heard actually the crowd gasp on that.
Yeah, he crashed the boards hard. Gansky ran into the net. He's not even going to miss a shift. He's still out there for the Grizzlies. Unfortunately, we haven't seen Aiden Hansen-Bucati. He blocked a shot. It looked like it got a lower extremity pretty good. Liam Malmquist will take the draw for Idaho, and it's going to be Evan Friesen for the Grizzlies. Friesen got his first pro goal on April 11th for the Grizzlies in Rapid City. Next to the last game of the regular season.
That was a nice block that time by Boyko, but he heads off immediately.
Boyko's a guy that blocked quite a few shots for 3 different teams in the ECHL last season. His brother, Josh Boyko, is a goaltender professionally.
Okay.
Friesen gets it towards Voigt. Voigt controls the puck, the Pittsburgh native, former Toronto Maple Leafs draft pick. He'll lay it for Felton. Felton skates to the near goal line, now around the net. Felton still with it on the right side. He'll pedal towards his left. Now he fires towards the net, and it goes wide as Voigt was battling with a Steelhead out in front. Now the puck is lifted, bounces to neutral ice. Doug Scott will hustle after it. Scott gets it to Salem at the Utah line. Salem will helicopter it off the backside of Luke Manning. He wasn't looking for the puck. As coming back up with it is Reed Lebster.
Yeah, I really think that pass was not for Manning. Manning just happened to be there and get in the way.
Lebster was part of the Kelly Cup Championship for Florida. Played in some playoff games for the Everblades a couple years ago. Second year with the Grizzlies. Idaho at center ice gets it towards Genev, the Penn State product. Genev 1 goal last night. He's got great speed. He skates around Utah's net. Now to the right point. He fires a prayer, and it's blocked away before it gets to McKay. Genev gets knocked down, hoping for a call and then to be had. We have only had 1 power play in the game, and that was Idaho in the first period. Berg will lift one. It bounces, and Hughes gets it on one hop like a shortstop, and he's able to hold on with 15:52 left in the third.
That took a very interesting bounce, and that's like
that thing hits a divot. Somehow it takes who knows what happens.
It's also, you have to kind of watch out on the boards here. We occasionally, the way they fit together in the corners, you get a bad bounce as it's coming out, and deflects toward the goal.
A little bit of a tighter corner.
That could be it. I don't know, but it's. I know it's regulation. Some boards are just like that. You would think that would be a home ice advantage, but sometimes the Spud Kings get bitten by that.
Well, a lot of the newer arenas obviously are regulation size. I remember the old Boston Garden was a pretty small place. In Wheeling in this league, it's a smaller ice surface, and there's hardly any neutral zone.
Right.
So that one's always obviously an interesting one and a great home ice advantage for Wheeling as they know how to play on that surface. Gansky runs it down as Holmes crashes along the boards. As Holmes gets the puck, he's now on the right side of the ice. He's being shadowed by Enns. Holmes shields Enns from the puck, drops it behind Utah's net. Now wraparound shot, saved by McKay. As C.J. Walker skated towards the near side and kind of brushed it towards the net. And McKay did a good job locating it, and he was able to make the stop.
Yeah, it's a great job by C.J. to make the initial move. The problem is when he got it to his backhand, he was in a situation he couldn't really lift the puck right there. And so McKay did a great job just sliding over and making sure he got that low shot stopped.
Walker kind of fits that mold that we've seen from several Steelheads over the years where he plays a physical brand of hockey, and every now and then, he may score 10 goals a year, but they may be big goals.
Right.
Great role player for the Steelheads, certainly a great glue guy, and that's why he's one of 9 Steelheads back from last season's club. Holmes will move it to the right side. Idaho fans on it as they'll drop it for Friesen. Friesen behind the net, turnover as Hoffman skates in front of the net. And it deflects off the stick onto McKay, who covers up in the crease.
Yeah, those are just the unfortunate little turnovers there, and you can create an opportunity like we just saw, but then you also get a bad bounce of the puck or something like that, and that's how you give up goals.
For Simon Boyko, he's on the ice with Gillot and Friesen. I've been talking a little bit about John Gillot. He played at Holy Cross University. He was there in 149 games over the last 4 seasons. He had 15 goals and 30 assists for Holy Cross. In fact, he is tied for third most all time in games played at Holy Cross.
Well, on a college level, that's quite a few games.
High slot righty shot. That one goes wide. That shot was taken by Caleb Pearson, who arguably has been Idaho's best forward tonight. Gillot races as Pearson cuts in front of him, but the puck goes out to neutral ice. Idaho resets. They've got the puck skating from left to right. We played 5 minutes into this third period. Idaho leads 2-1. Shots, Idaho 22, Utah 21.
Yeah.
Steelheads skate in, but Malmquist is offside. Both teams have 2 shots here in the third period.
Yeah, Malmquist has got to be aware of what's going on around him. His man was halfway between the blue line and the circle.
Malmquist, a native of Edina, Minnesota. That's the same hometown that Mason Nevers is from. Everett, she must like those Minnesota guys. There are 7 natives from Minnesota on their roster.
Well, there's, when it comes to U.S. players, a ton of them are from Minnesota. You would obviously a big hockey state, but they've got some great college programs, even the Division II and III level there.
Grizzlies have got some Minnesota natives in their own right. As the puck is rolled along the boards, Gansky knocks down a Steelhead. Fans wanted to call and then to be had. And there haven't been much that's been called tonight. Idaho, left point. They fire towards the net. It goes wide as McKay was drifting towards his left after it. Parker will get it to Malmquist just outside the right circle. Take a lefty shot. Glove saved by McKay. And out in front of McKay was Nick Ports. But McKay just kind of stuck out his left paw, was able to make the glove save.
Yeah, great aggressiveness by McKay, not waiting for the puck to come to him. He had the man right there that was really screening him any movement to the right side. So he just stuck it there, and good save.
Messner will take the draw for the Grizzlies. Dryden McKay so far has saved 21 of 23. And the only 2 have been with a lot of traffic out in front, and you can argue he didn't have good vision on either of those. When he's been able to see it, he's been able to stop it tonight.
Yeah, particularly that second goal. I don't even think he saw the puck. It went by him.
Webster steps over the offensive line, skates towards the left side, pivots, stops, throws it across looking for Messner. It goes over his stick. Now the Steelheads will move it out to center ice. Idaho gets it edge. Genev, he'll skate out, take a shot, scores.
That was impressive right there.
Genev got behind the Grizzlies defense, and then once he got past ends, it was one-on-one, and he fired it past McKay, and Idaho leads 3-1.
Yeah, I tell you what, the goal's impressive, but that was even better pass. That was through traffic, right on the money, no offside because the puck crossed right as he was coming over the line, and everything timing-wise worked out there.
Looked like an Adam Oates pass that was perfectly delivered to Brett Hull. The only difference is instead of a one-timer from Hull, that was Genev, and Steelhead fans are going to love him. Grizzlies fans are hoping that he gets an AHL opportunity rather soon. He's going to be pretty good.
Well, and that's, at this level, in professional hockey, it's just like the junior division. You're wanting that next level, and you're wanting the opportunities. So guys got to prove themselves, and so far he's proven himself.
Unfortunately for Genev, he's a pretty small guy, but looks like he can definitely play. Unfortunately, the small guys that can really play, sometimes they get overlooked and they end up in a league like this, and they got to prove themselves. But then again, Theo Fleury wasn't very big, and he was a great player. I mean, he was probably 5'5", 5'6". Behind the Idaho net, Connors will move it back towards Felton to glance off his stick. Felton tries to regather it, and he gets taken off the puck by Chris Tadero. Getting it back at the Utah line is Doug Scott. Scott looks like a pretty good skater. He's got a chance to make the team as a tryout contract guy. He'll move it to Ricketts. But race down the middle of the ice with long strides. Ricketts trying to jump his way past Connor Punadu. Cut him off, and he still has move it back to center ice. Now Grizzlies get it back. Felton from one blue line to the other. He tried to get to Ricketts, who couldn't reach it, and the Grizzlies are called for icing.
Yeah, I think that, back to the conversation about, the smaller frame guys, hockey is one sport that at the high level, it isn't necessarily such a distinct disadvantage not to be a tall guy.
Yeah.
Whereas some of the other sports, obviously, it makes a bigger impact. But if you've got speed in good hands, you can play.
And you can't underestimate the importance of having good hands, and that means just about everything for a player.
Yeah, exactly.
Gansky's behind Utah's net. Everybody spreads the ice. We're skating 5-on-5. As they announce the Steelheads goal, as Genev scored one yesterday. Now he's got one tonight. Gansky trying to get to Friesen. The pass misconnected and icing on the Grizzlies again with 12:35 left in the third.
Well, if I know Eric Hudson, as you know, he joins my broadcast during the second period during the Spud King games. He hates those missed pass for icing. So he's probably seething just a little bit.
Those can be tough sometimes. Grizzlies have been pretty crisp with their passes at times. We welcome those of you who'd been tuned into the Utah Mammoth game against the Nashville Predators. Utah came away with a 3-2 overtime victory, so they get on the board for their first victory with the Mammoth identity. The overtime game winner was scored by, we'll give you fans at home a chance to think it over. Don't overthink it, as it's probably who you think it is. Grizzlies have it deep in their own zone. It's Dylan Gunther, unassisted, 2:56 into overtime, as Gunther gets the overtime game winner for the Utah Mammoth. They defeat Nashville 3-2, and we welcome those of you who were tuned into that game, as Idaho gets the puck leading 3-1, less than 12 minutes left in the third period. Idaho crosses center ice, and Horvath will flip it in, as Salem, with good speed, will break a double team, races across center ice. Salem gets towards the right circle. Now he shields Idaho from the puck as he skates around the net. He's trying to chip it out in front towards Friesen, and a save is made. Boy, what a play by Salem. Skated around the net. They tried to pass out in front towards Friesen.
Yeah, good move around the net. Very dangerous. And I was a little surprised when the goaltender came up with it in his glove. That can often be a little awkward trying to get that flat off the ice there.
Idaho 3, Utah 1, 11:43 left in the third period. We'll be back in 30 seconds. This is the Grizzlies Hockey Network.
Maverick's new Bean to Cup machines always deliver a freshly ground cup of coffee on demand, so you can enjoy any of our premium roasts at their best, day or night, hot or iced. Enjoy a fresh cup today.
Danny Genev scored 6:08 into the third period. Mason Nevers and Jordan Steinmetz with the assist. Back after this.
Maverick's new Bean to Cup machines always deliver a freshly ground cup of coffee on demand, so you can enjoy any of our premium roasts at their best, day or night, hot or iced. Enjoy a fresh cup today.
Idaho 3, Utah 1. Danny Genev scored 6:08 in. Nevers and Steinmetz with the assist. Grizzlies have an offensive zone draw, as Luke Manning will take the face-off. He's out there with Voigt and Shea. You had mentioned it during the second period. That's probably been Utah's best forward line all night.
Yeah, and I really like the way they play together. You know, there's certain combinations. Obviously, it looks like this is going to be their number one line moving forward for the year.
Manning, one-timer in the slot, and it goes wide. Didn't get all of it. Now a sharp-angled shot from the right side. That's blocked away by Muse. That last shot was taken by Colby Yen's number 5, who's a big defenseman, as he probably is a little bit bigger. They list him at 6'2". He might be 6'2", 6'3". Manning in front of the net. Shot saved by Muse. As Manning now tries to break free. Skates towards the left corner. Gets held up by Boltman. Now Shea with the puck in the right side. Gets to Enns. Enns thinks about getting it back to Shea. Didn't have a passing angle. Puck exits to neutral ice, as the Steelheads will move it towards Genev, as he stops over in the left point. Grizzlies skate from right to left during the period. Puck is turned over to Manning. Luke Manning, who scored a second period goal. He's got Utah's lone goal tonight. He gets dragged down as he gets physical with C.J. Walker. Last night it was Hoffman and Manning that got physical in the third period. We're still not sure what Manning did to deserve the 10-minute misconduct, but he got it anyway.
Yeah, I saw that, in the stats, and I didn't know what the backstory was on that.
I'm still not sure what Manning did. Manning and Hoffman got physical. 3 guys went after Manning, and somehow Manning got a misconduct out of it.
Okay.
It was kind of an odd play. Manning still wasn't sure what he did. Had to have been verbal, I guess. But
right.
So there's a draw on the right side. McMessner will take it against Jordan Stanmetz. Stanmetz picked up an assist on that Genev goal a few minutes ago as Idaho leads 3-1. Shots are dead even at 25 apiece. Grizzlies won the faceoff. Gansky gets it towards the right side. Utah at center ice. They try to get to Messner, but he gets cut off by Stenmitz, who gets the puck and he dumps it back in. Gansky, the big 6'7" defenseman, will lay it for Christian Felton. Felton wearing number 42. I think towards the end of last season, that was Riley Connor's number. Nick Pastorius also wore 42 at the start of last season. He gets it to the left side for Lepster. As Lepster gets around Steinmetz, but gets divorced from the puck. As C.J. Walker gets cut off by Felton to move it ahead to Holmes. Holmes shields Gansky from the puck. As Holmes gets pushed along the glass, Holmes loses the puck. Now Messner battles with Reshuk. As Reshuk gets it back in the high slot, same spot on the ice, although it was on the other end where he scored in the second period. This time his shot gets blocked. Felton pushes Walker along the boards. Grizzlies come out with it with Adam Berg. Berg gets it to Felton, who drops it back for Berg at the Utah line. Berg with a right wing pass that connects to Connors, and Connors will pitchfork it in. Still heads back defensively, but Idaho fanned on a pass. Reshuk throws to the corner, and it went from the corner all the way towards the middle of the ice. And it took a little bit of a Utah hop. Sometimes it happens in Grizzlies games. It hits the corner, then squirts back to the middle of the ice. And some cases, it turns into a scoring chance. Grizzlies feed it out in front for Ness. Ness just bounced off his skate. Once he tried to regather, Idaho gets it, and they'll plop it all the way deep into the Grizzlies zone.
He's probably killed himself right there because it just bounced right over his stick.
That's a tough one. If Ness would have got a chance on it, right side, righty shot, saved by Muse. Rebound goes towards the left point. Ness will push it ahead. Now the Grizzlies trying to get towards Ricketts, and he swings and misses on a centering pass from Connors. Now Ness gets it back, skates towards the left circle. Centering pass, shot, saved by Muse. Now the Grizzlies, they look for a second chance, and Idaho did a good job building a wall in front of the crease.
I wish I could see the replay on that because I think Muse just made an outstanding save there.
Ricketts stops in the right point, gets it to Felton right side. Felton centering pass, shot, and a save by Muse as they had a pretty good look as they had found Evan Friesen, and he was denied by Muse. Grizzlies come back up with it in neutral ice. Felton gets around one Steelhead, crosses the center red line, now steps over the offensive blue, drops it for Friesen, over to Felton in the give and go. Felton looked for a centering pass, bounced off the Steelhead. As now to the middle of the ice, Idaho chips it back to the center ice logo. Ends will whip it around the boards. Simon Boyko trying to fire a prayer towards the net, and it goes wide. As Idaho will get it to center ice, 2-on-2. Idaho over the offensive blue. Salem shadowing. Idaho centers, and it's picked off by Friesen. 7:46 on a moving clock, third period. Steelheads lead 3-1. Boyko bounces one towards Gillot. Down the middle of the ice, he couldn't corral the bouncing puck, and Idaho clears it off the far wing wall. Ends gets it. Blue line to blue line pass. Connects to Boyko, and he'll loft one towards Muse, who gloves it, and he brushes it away to make sure the play stays alive. Manning behind the net as he overskates the puck with Jeff Baum in the area. Baum played at Belfast in the EIHL. The EIHL spot where you see a lot of ECHL players. Many former Grizzlies and Steelheads in that league. As Grizzlies get it brushed away. Manning gets the puck. He skates towards the left corner. He gets up top to Doug Scott. Scott to the high slot. Lefty shot. Saved by Muse. And puck bounces back towards the near corner. Shea will throw it to Voigt. Voigt back to Shea. Too much traffic out in front, so Shea couldn't collect it. Hoffman will get it to the far corner. Idaho clears it out. Foot race to get the icing. Doug Scott. No icing on the play, though. Would have been called at referee or the linesman Tyler Keston decided so. As Messner crosses center ice, and he gets it taken away. Genev bounces around as Holmes will throw it to the middle of the ice. Salem and Berg almost collide. Messner comes out with the puck. He'll get across center ice 1-on-2. He'll dump it in, chase after. He gets around Reshuk as Punnett throws Messner along the glass. Loose puck to the right point. Felton gets it. Felton will drop it back off. Lepster will take a righty shot, saved by Muse, and he holds on with 6:15 left in the third.
Yeah, good traffic there in front and a good shot. But I can tell you what, Utah, that was a very long. Are you out of breath yet?
I'm fine.
Because earlier in that sequence, there were two opportunities Utah had, and this how close it is just with a fraction of a second. Muse was just able to make saves on those when the looks were so good, like they had wide open looks.
Boy, Grizzlies have had some pretty good looks in the third period. They've done a good job getting those centering passes in. Boy, for the second straight night, Steelheads goaltenders have done a great job. Last night it was Nolan Mayer, and tonight the combination of Halaz and Muse. They've done a good job. Puck at center ice, and it rolls along the boards. McKay cuts it off behind his net, and he'll bounce one to Chris Dodaro. Dodaro tried to center it, and it didn't get very far. Adam Burke comes back the other way, across the center ice, and tried to dump it in. It glanced off a Steelhead stick. Now it goes deep into the Idaho zone. Steelhead skate from left to right. And it looks like icing is going to be called on the Steelheads with 5:47 left in the third.
You know, obviously, we've been mentioning a lot the Manning, Shea, Buchanan line. They played a lot together because they were with, the club last year, and I think that helps. I also like, you've mentioned Scott, which is one of the young defensemen they brought in for a tryout. I think he looks very good with that line when he's been out there.
Yeah.
Their timing seems to be pretty good, so we'll see if that develops over the course of the season.
And with Hanson Buchanan not appearing, a Grizzly player got tripped up right at the drop of the puck. As Jack Ricketts went down, he got tripped up by a Steelhead. Referee doesn't want to call any penalties. He just warns them. Hey, just don't do that again.
Yeah. And they haven't missed anything what I would call obvious.
Grizzlies have it. Gansky down the middle of the ice. He fires a righty shot, and it goes high off the glass. Now the Grizzlies right wing, righty shot saved by Muse. Rebound. Idaho collects it, and Dodaro will bounce it off the glass. Bouncing puck at center ice as Gansky delivers a physical check and tries to come after the puck. As coming up with it is Riley Connors. Will drop it behind his net for Colby Enns. Enns will move it to the near side for Gansky. Gansky, rink wide feed to Ness, goes tape to tape. Ness gets cut off. Connors takes over the play. He steps over the offensive blue and gets cut off by Parker. Puck lifts high into the air. Didn't hit the roof. Could have hit the championship banners if it went a little higher. Spud Kings are really proud of those championship banners, 3 of them, with the 2024-25 season Mountain Division champions and Deneen Cup champions.
Yeah, that's don't put a hole in those.
That's right. Those are brand new too. Yeah. Salem left side, shot saved by Muse in the butterfly position. Less than 5 minutes left in regulation. Grizzlies up to 35 shots. Idaho's taken 25. So 31-25. Grizzlies have the shot edge, but Idaho leads 3-1. Steelheads come back up with it as Utah will take it back at their line. Salem will nudge it ahead about 50 feet as bouncing puck as Boyko chases after it. Muse dives in the crease to cover up with 4:30 left in the third.
Yeah, good cover up there as pressure was being applied, but just the Grizzlies, they've had some great chances. They just haven't tickled the back of the net with that puck, and so we'll see.
Luke Manning scored halfway through the second period. Idaho's responded with 3 unanswered.
Yeah. It's I love having the two teams up here, and it's you can see by the reaction of the crowd. By the way, we do have more Steelhead fans here than we do.
No, we are in the state of Idaho.
Yeah, we are, and that's it makes sense. But fans love to have these two teams here. It's to get professional hockey in this town is just wonderful. And, they're getting treated to a good game tonight, and I think they do appreciate that. Moving forward, obviously the Grizz got to do something here. They've got to somebody's got to step up. They need a lucky bounce. They need, something to happen. I still think they need quicker shots from the point. On that last sequence, they had a couple opportunities, but you get a man in front, go ahead and fly that puck from the blue line in there. If it hits bodies, it hits bodies, but then you never know what's going to happen after that.
You're probably looking, throw one in on net, and, maybe the puck plays Plinko. You get a lucky bounce. Your guy locates the puck, and all of a sudden, that's where you get the goals from.
Yeah, and that's, so with 4:30 left, you really need, you can overpress and leave yourself open on the back end. You don't want to do that, but, they really need to get that puck just on net, just so that it's loose there in some form or fashion.
Grizzlies who have the 5-man unit of Shea, Manning, and Voigt, and defensively Felton and Luke Salem. That's the party of 5 for the Grizzlies on the ice. Utah wins the draw as Grizzlies looking for a goal. They trail 3-1. Voigt is triple teamed. Couldn't get a shot off as he was trying to locate it. As Jake Boltman in the area, and the puck Nobody knows where
Wow.
it is. It stays in play. Manning spotted it, but it was right near Boltman. Boltman was able to find it just as Manning had arrived to the scene.
Looked like he thought it went over the glass there.
I think like everybody except for Manning and maybe one others thought that. They were just waiting for the whistle. As Hoffman gets his own pass, and puck ends up sliding towards McKay.
Yeah.
Well, it looked like Hoffman tried to throw it into traffic as the Steelhead and Grizzly were battling for it. And then Hoffman retreated, got his own pass, but couldn't get much of a shot in on McKay.
No, I mean, it was good defense there, but Hoffman really did a great job to press the issue. He got some speed off that on the left side, and just like you said, couldn't get anything on any type of a shot.
Draws going to be over in the left circle as the Grizzlies wearing the white jerseys, black numbers, professional green trim. Now, that really started at league meetings a few years ago. Everybody thought that the Grizzlies shade of green kind of was like more of a professional forest green type of thing. And so for many years, I right there during league meetings, I thought that's our shade of green. It's professional green. It's the type of green you see at Augusta, Georgia.
There we go.
Berg overpowers Punnett. I try to get it out towards Lebster. Puck bounces. Now the Grizzlies to the right side. They're on the offensive zone. They get up top to Gansky, who skates towards the high slot. He'll take a righty shot that goes wide. As now behind the net. Grizzlies get pinned. Lebster throws it back to Gansky. He's at the right goal line. Throws it behind the net. Grizzlies, Adam Berg, he tried to find himself in a shooting position, but just couldn't quite corral the puck. As if both coaches wanted to work on the power play and penalty kill, they're sadly disappointed tonight. Grizzlies behind the net. They get it over towards Felton, one-timer, and that one's blocked. Everybody trying to find it. It stays in play. Lebster, left side. He'll take a shot, and that's blocked by Punnett. And the puck is cleared out to center ice. Genev gets the puck as he'll race towards the left side. Great defensive play by Felton to knife it away. Genev gets it back. And Genev will just slow it down as the Steelheads with a 2-goal lead.
Smart play.
It really is a smart play. Penn State, if I remember right, was in the Frozen Four last year.
Yes.
I know Wichita broadcaster Jason Malls was happy with that. He's either a Penn State or alum, or he's a very big Penn State fan. Might even be both. Scott gets to the left side for Ricketts. 2.5 minutes left in regulation. Connors gets the puck. He'll move it to his right as Ness splits a double team, but he gets knocked down. Scott gets it as he will skate towards the right point, and he'll backhand it around the wall. Puck goes to Griffin Ness behind the net. Thought about doing the Michigan wrap around, trying to find a teammate out in front. Misconnects. Scott with a shot from the right side. That gets tipped and goes out of play. 2:04 is the time remaining here in the third period.
Well, they are getting some shots toward the net. It's just the rebounds are not coming out in their favor right now for the Grizzlies.
It's almost like where you are looking for a lucky bounce, because Idaho does a pretty good job just getting bodies defensively in front of the net.
Yeah, they really are doing there's stout defense. Their positioning's real good right now.
Yeah.
You wonder if they're going to pull the goaltender at any time.
They didn't last night, down 2 goals. We'll see if they do here this evening. As Felton back towards the left side, Ryan Anderson and Eric Hudson behind the bench for Utah. We're certainly thinking of John Buchanan and his family as he's out with a family emergency. I think he's over in Arizona. Puck off the stick of Felton, who gets the puck. 1:45 left in regulation. Felton will get it towards the right side. Grizzlies spread the ice, but time's not on their side. Salem moves to his right. Connors will brush it ahead. Ricketts with the puck. He'll skate towards the middle of the ice. Now he'll move to his left. Ricketts stops on the left point, backhands it across. Noah Gansky looked to fire to the net, and it's blocked away by Holmes' stick. Holmes had a good game. Robbie Holmes, who played at Mount Royal University, a native of Alberta, wearing number 32 for the Steelheads. Hoffman gets the puck. McKay's still in there. 1:15 left as Hoffman will knock it into the near corner on the right side. Pearson gets blasted by Gansky as fans are pretty quiet here. They're just kind of enjoying the landscape, enjoying the scene. They haven't really yelled too much here tonight. Kind of a quieter crowd. As Grizzlies dump it in, does John Gillot, number 24. As the Steelheads, with less than a minute left in regulation, will sky it high into the air. Bouncing puck run down by Colby Enns. Enns gets it across to Doug Scott. As Scott will knock it ahead into Steelheads territory off a Boyko's stick. Puck rolls all the way towards Muse, who thought about covering it up, but he keeps the play alive. Grizzlies trying to center it to Friesen. Friesen gets occupied as Idaho took it away. Steelheads globe it out to center ice. Now Idaho enters the zone, but they're offside to stop play with 28.9 seconds left.
not much really that a Grizzly fan wants to hear on a Grizzly broadcast, but in the last 2 minutes, the Steelheads have been doing a wonderful job at puck control and their positioning on the ice. They could have pressed some things. They've taken the puck out. They've just controlled the puck, and they've been in the right spot.
There was that play that Genev had where he easily could have gone and tried to find a scoring opportunity. He backs it out all the way into his own zone. Kill Simon, keep puck possession. Idaho whips it around the boards. 22 seconds left action in the Grizzlies zone. Siren pass off a stick. Now Boyko gets it for Utah across the center red line, and he'll plop it in. Manning chasing after it as he gets around to Steelhead. Now Manning trying to chip it out in front. It's knifed away by Idaho. 6 seconds left. Puck lifted to center ice. Salem gets to the right wing. 3 seconds left. 2. Felton fires a prayer at the buzzer, and it's sticked away, and that will do it as Idaho wins 3-1 as the Steelheads were outshot 31-25. Luke Manning had scored halfway through the second period, and Idaho responded with 3 unanswered, 2 in the second period and 1 in the third, as the Steelheads end the preseason with a 2-0 record as they defeated Utah 4-2 last night, and 3-1 is the final this evening. A lot of positives defensively for both clubs. They can roll into the regular season as the Grizzlies begin play 6 days from now against the Greenville Swamp Rabbits.
Well, I echo your sentiments. We reach out to John and his family. Hope everything's okay. I think, of course, having that group, having worked here in Idaho Falls with the hockey club here, I think you're in good hands for this season with John, behind the bench, and Eric helping with doing dual roles with the GM of both teams. So I think there's some positives that, even though, of course, the Grizzlies didn't come out with a victory here, they've got a lot of things they can build on. And, of course, the Steelheads also, they've got some great players. I know there's a couple hopes that one of them gets moved up, but you never know about that. I look forward to watching a couple of these games as the year goes along.
It's going to be a ton of fun all season. The 72-game journey begins 6 days from now. Grizzlies will be in Greenville to face the Swamp Rabbits. And before we head out, we'll probably get a note of where Idaho is going to start their regular season.
They're at home versus Tahoe.
The Tahoe Night Monsters.
Yes.
They're going to quickly become a rival of Idaho, and Tahoe occupied a postseason spot last year. They're in their second year of existence. We do know the old equipment manager, Jackson Hibbert, who was with the Grizzlies for many years. The last 2 seasons as head equipment manager. He's now in Tahoe.
Well, he switched allegiance there, eh?
Well, I mean, it does happen.
Good for him if it was a move up,
In some ways it was, but we certainly, when Tahoe comes to town, we're certainly going to have to find Jackson Hibbert. Maybe we'll get him an interview on the Grizzlies Hockey Network.
Well, there you go. Yeah.
Let's recap the scoring quickly before we head out. Nobody scored in the first period. Idaho outshot Utah 13-10 in the first frame. Grizzlies scored first. Luke Manning 9:32 in with Neil Shea getting the assist. Idaho got on the board 13:35 in as Aiden Reshik scored his first of the preseason with C.J. Walker getting the assist. A minute and a half later, what turned out to be the game winner, Mason Nevers scored 15:09 in with Hoffman and Boltman getting the assist. And 6:08 into the third period, Danny Janetsev scored his second of the preseason with Nevers and Steinmetz getting the assist. Nevers had 1 goal and 1 assist. Steinmetz had a pretty good game as well, and be a tough choice for the 3 stars of the game. Idaho went with 2 goaltenders. Benny Halaz saved all 13 shots he saw, and Colby Muse saved 17 of 18. Dryden McKay for the Grizzlies, he saved 22 of 25. And both coaches wanted to work on the special teams. I got some bad news. Idaho was 0 for 1 on the power play. Utah 0 for 0. So I guess they're going to have to work on the power play in practice.
Yeah, that's sometimes I don't mind when the refs let them play a little bit. There was no penalty
that was obvious.
That was so obviously missed that you could say anything. There was a lot of small little things, but yeah, I know what you mean about the lack of work on that.
I mentioned the strong forward lines. Manning and Shea were each a +1 tonight for the Grizzlies. Manning led Utah with 6 shots. Evan Friesen had 4. Noah Gansky, Neil Shea, and Reed Lepster each had 3 shots. For the Idaho side, Mason Evers, 1 goal, 1 assist. He was a +2. He'd be my pick for the number 1 star of the game. Shots were pretty balanced. Janetsev, he had 4 shots. CJ Walker had 4 shots. A bunch of other Steelheads with 2 shots on goal. That was a ton of fun. The 3rd annual Battles of the Beast here in Idaho Falls, as the Steelheads come out on top 3-1. Utah Mammoth got an overtime victory, 3-2, as Dylan Gunther scored unassisted. Last we checked, Dallas had a 4-3 lead on the Colorado Avalanche in the 3rd period, and it looks like that game has now gone to overtime as Nathan McKinnon scored a power play goal, 10:46 in. Grizzlies NHL affiliate, the Colorado Avalanche, are headed to overtime, 4-4 tie with the Dallas Stars. Well, Scott, it was a ton of fun being here, and it was outside of the Grizzlies losing the game, I thought it was a good time.
Yeah, I by the way, I appreciate it very much. You let me come and do a little color commentary, and Grizzlies didn't win, but there was a lot of good positives that can be taken. I love their first line. I am going to follow that this year because I think there could be a lot of exciting play on that. Perhaps even if I had to assess things, Steelheads maybe a little more balanced up and down their lines, but that's going to be a lot of fun to watch throughout the season.
It's going to be an interesting journey, and it begins Friday in Greenville, South Carolina. Grizzlies will be on the road for each of the first 4 games of the season. The home opener is 2 weeks from now on October 25th. Well, that'll wrap things up here on the Grizzlies Radio Network. For Scott Bradford, I'm Tyson Whiting, and it is what it is. Hope you enjoyed the broadcast and not necessarily the final outcome. Once again, the Idaho Steelheads defeat the Utah Grizzlies 3-1 as Luke Manning scored the lone Grizzlies goal. We'll talk again on Friday night in Greenville, South Carolina. You've been tuned in to the Utah Grizzlies Hockey Network. Good night, everybody.